That's
Yeah,
cool,
it's
bro.
pretty
That's
crazy, yeah.
yeah, that's exciting. That's a
Mm.
funny development. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm. Yeah, also it's been very like lots of, you know, learning and processing, and you know how they say spend time with your family at, like, during the holidays, and you'll see if you're really enlightened,
Yeah.
like something
No,
like that.
yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
like for me, I've been like I had been single for like, I don't know, like almost, I think 6 7 years.
Okay, yeah.
So we basically coincided with basically when my awakening happened, like the
Mhm.
beginning of it.
Right.
And then, I mean, I feel there was like a component. I don't know if that's the right word, but like there was something about needing to be alone a bit, like to, process a bit of stuff like alone,
Right.
like deal with my own stuff.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
yeah, and then like, there was like the phase that they call, I mean, I don't really see it like exactly that way anymore, but like, the Dark Knight thing,
Right.
like when you get like really at the bottom of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like yeah, you start to get even more depressed than maybe you were before the awakening.
Right.
And and then I don't know, now I feel it's like I thought I had a lot of stuff like healed and
Hmm.
figured out, and in a way it, like, I did, but now it's like, there's a very close other, or seeming other, um, you know component to, like, like person to they have to relate with, and like, mm, that kind of mirrors you, right?
Oh, right. Yeah,
And
no, yes. It's kind of like the greatest challenge.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
your closest loved ones are like the
yeah,
best training partners with this.
yeah. And also there's all of that stuff about, romantic relationships, and all of the stuff about, like, mm, attachment styles, like, if you want to see
Right.
it in that kind of lens.
Yeah,
And
like the love languages and stuff.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
and like all of the fears, like, complexes, and like anxious attachment,
Yeah. Oh, I
avoidance,
see.
all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
And like all of that, like those things that you sometimes can't really deal with if you're alone. um and I mean, maybe you can, but like it kind of helps, I guess, to have like a physical
Well,
uh
yeah, well, yeah, and it's like you can integrate the alone experiences when you're alone, but to
right,
integrate the experiences with other people, you have to be with
right,
other people. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. And so like there were, I guess, I'm sure there was some stuff about it that I kind of processed, or like at least started to process alone. But
right.
then like there was a lot more that had to be experienced, to be transmuted and understood. And
Yeah, and
it's been yeah, it's
it's
been
like
intense sometimes. Yeah.
no, yeah, well, and it's almost like I mean, it's easy to be an effortless being alone. Like the real
Right.
integration and like yeah, like transmuting happens um in like the activity and the dynamics of life, like being able to bring that
Hmm.
like neutrality or just like that isness into the um like the relationships and stuff because yeah like it's you're only going to experience that stuff when you're with like a
Hmm.
significant other or something or like a family member.
Right. Yeah. I was just no, I kind of laughed because I listened to the Isness video like this morning, like the one that
Oh,
you
yeah.
posted.
Which one?
Uh,
The
I think the last one, right? The latest one.
the neutralizing fatigue one, the one where I'm talking to the lady.
No, no, no. It's like the
Is it the flowing isness one?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's the one that you when where you yeah it's yeah unwinding resistance patterns reclaiming. I
Oh,
think
okay. Yeah.
no, no, actually no, it's no, it's the flowing business. Yeah, knowing
Okay.
flowing business. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, that's like good. That sounds like to me that's where all the juice happens. Is like being able
Mhm.
to still enjoy the relationships, but it's like without the fear, like without the compromise and like the reactivity and like all the low frequency stuff. But there is
Mhm.
like a unfolding process. Like it totally can be challenging. Like you
Yeah,
described, like it's definitely has all types of challenges. But then like as you're probably seeing it when you flow through the challenges and you just like don't react to them and you break those energetic
yeah,
patterns, it's like it opens up and then it's better. And then it's so much more enjoyable than just sitting alone. Like, not that it's bad to
right.
sit alone. I mean, it's if you feel like sitting alone, that's good. But like, I feel
Mhm.
like because I was in that mode for a while too, where I was
Yeah,
kind of like avoiding being with other people a little bit because it got to
yeah,
the
yeah,
point to where I was being alone so much that I started to
yeah,
almost like be a little frozen around other people. Like I was,
yeah,
it started to like um
yeah.
turn into like a resistance. But like,
Right.
yeah,
And there's
that's
also like that. Yeah, sorry.
no. Go ahead.
No, it's just that there's sometimes there's that kind of justification about you not being um in tune with other people, like not having the same interests, or like like
Yeah,
the hermit phase thing, which can be sometimes like a more of a avoidance
yeah.
tactic in a way. I mean,
No,
sort of like both things maybe, but like there's a side of it that's not maybe as healthy or like natural.
no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like how you're using like the avoidance word and stuff. Have you been like looking into this stuff, or like
Oh,
you just been thinking about it? Because these are like the same kind of ways I've been talking about it too. Like,
mm, mm, mm.
because yeah, the avoidance thing is big. It's like it gets
Yeah,
hijacked. It's like the whole it's like David's expansion versus contraction pointer. The mind
yeah,
hijacks it and says like, "Oh well, it feels like contraction to be with my girlfriend, so I'm just not going to be with her," or something like,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
but really, that's like trying to keep you frozen in place and keep you avoidant. The real
Right.
expansion is in like flowing through the challenge, like transcending the challenge, and
Yeah,
then that's how you like actually integrate it, and then you get the best of both worlds. It's like you can enjoy being
exactly.
alone, or you can enjoy being with other people, and it's way more
Right. And
it,
also I think if it comes like if the time or like the decision or like the clarity to like about having to maybe end the relationship or breaking up, it's gonna that's gonna happen in like without resistance, not with resistance.
exact
Right.
and it'll
Like
and it'll flow from clarity. It won't flow from like
exactly.
reactivity and like fogginess. Like when we get in like
Right.
that avoidance, it's like we don't have
Yeah.
the clarity and we're in that kind of like reactive fear-based energy. But when you're just in
Right.
that like neutrality and you're
Yeah.
just like flowing with the experience, that's when you can actually you still respond to life. You just don't react to
Hmm.
it. Like you respond in the most clear and empowered way
Right.
possible. And it's like
And
in
you
my
don't even. Yeah. Sorry.
no,
Sorry.
and in my experience, it's like you can still make mistakes and stuff. It's not that like you're automatically perfect, but the key is
Hmm.
it's like you flow through mistakes. Whereas when you're caught up in the mind, it's like you react to mistakes and you snag on them and you spiral downwards. But when you're in the
Hmm.
isness, it's like the challenge can come up And even if you start to make a mistake, you can just like flow through it and you can still like correct the mistake or do whatever you need to do, but you don't like spiral downwards into that like
Right.
reactive kind of like avoidant or like fear-based energy.
Yeah, and also I think if you're like in Isness, for example, you're way more attuned and like sensitive to what's happening, and like very like much more sensitive to any contraction happening
Yeah,
inside of you as well. So you know like you can stop way earlier when you notice that some like that you're making a mistake or that something is not flowing the way it should, right?
exactly.
Uh,
You're way more subtly tuned in. Another way I describe it is it's just, I mean, that's what the whole power of now thing is. It's basically the more you're in the isness, the more you're in the present moment. Like you're just more present with even the most
yeah,
subtle layers of what's happening. And then so you're aware more of not only yourself, but the other person. But
yeah, you're more,
it's not in like a
yeah,
hyper vigilance where it's like anxiety or something. It's like you're
yeah,
just
yeah,
aware from like that really like relaxed state. Like
right.
you're just like fully,
You're more like alert, but in a relaxed way. Like you're just more able to you just have more space in your noticing power or like skill.
yeah. And yeah, and
Like
you
just
don't,
yeah, there's just more capacity to notice stuff and like to respond accordingly, I guess.
yeah. Well, and the capacity thing is big too, because it really kind of feels like that for me. I feel like
Mm,
it's almost like the more you relax your energy and you're in that isness, I feel like it's like your brain relaxes and then you can
yeah,
take in more information. I feel like it feels like you're taking in way more information, but with less
yeah,
effort. Like it feels like you're like taking in all types of like subtle cues and signals, but you're not even
yeah.
like looking for them. You're kind of just in the moment, but you're just
Hmm.
like, there's just this like
Yeah.
presence about the whole situation. And it's really fun in the dynamism, like the dynamics of life. Like it's cool and all to just sit in your room alone and do it, but it's really
Mhm.
fun when you can do it like in a like an active situation with people or something, because it's like it's almost like you're riding like the crest of life. Like you're just fully
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, you're like playing like while the exciting stuff happens, right? Like you're full full in full in into the the game or the movie or whatever you want to call it. Like
Yeah, and I
you're
get
into the action, right? Like
yeah, and I guess what I'm trying to say, I think there's more opportunity for just like weird situations to arise when you're with
yeah,
people, but like in a good way, just like silly stuff, like even just like your girlfriend's daughter, like just saying something silly or something, and then it goes into like there's just
yeah.
way more, there's more potential for you guys to kind of bounce off of each other and
Hmm.
just create all sorts of like interesting dynamics.
Right. And also like if it's something that it's kind of happening also to basically trigger you and like
Yeah,
to trigger like a reaction from you, but also like potentially a healing. It's
exactly.
like it's way more likely to be successful and like actually useful, right? Because and otherwise, if you don't have the that capacity or that like that, these days
No,
I'm probably I don't know maybe I don't know how familiar you are with like maybe like computers or like but I always think of it as like I like to compare it with like RAM memory,
yeah,
RAM, like how
yeah,
much stuff you can process, like how much task are you able to process at once, or like how much capacity you have to handle all of the tasks
yeah.
being thrown at you, right?
Yeah, well, and
So if you don't have, yeah,
it's funny because it's completely opposite of what the mind thinks. The mind imagines that is like you have this ton of energy and then you're outputting a ton of energy, but it's really like the opposite. It's like you have a ton of energy, but it's completely effortless. It's like the more you're in that isness and that flow, you're doing like that super high power processing, but it's just
yeah,
happening super like smoothly and like
yeah,
really
it's way
efficiently.
more efficient. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because you have a lot of like the power is in a way it's like passive. It's like running in the background, and like all of the tasks that appear are basically processed in a very efficient way, and like just require like something like 1% of the actual capacity you have.
Right.
Instead, like the if you have like maybe half the capacity, the same task can occupy like almost all of your processing, capability. And
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sounds like the silly thing they say about using like 100% of your brain thing.
No, yeah, that's
Like,
exactly what it is. That's exactly
yeah,
what it
yeah, yeah.
is. You start to
Mm.
use more, but it's weird because it's happening effortlessly. Okay, now I remember what you were saying. You were talking about like how it's just like that passive energy. And yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that passiveness, because that's the thing, the source of the power is that unmanifest plane. Like the
Mm.
isness is like the screen. It's like the infinite potential, but it's not manifest. And I feel like that's kind of like
Yeah.
that just like pure potentiality. And
Like,
then
yeah, the that quantum stuff.
no, yeah, and then like yeah, all the stuff in the world of phenomena, like all the reactivity and fear and like challenges that come up, it's all opportunity to just basically disrupt those patterns. Like that's basically
Mm.
what it is. It's like when you're living from the isness, and I feel like that's exactly what you were saying when you were talking about how like when you're with people, there's that option. You have the option to either react to the invitation in the pattern and to repeat it, or you can do the healing. You can heal it by like breaking that pattern. It's by like disrupting that signal. And the way to like disrupt that pattern is by being the isness, being the screen.
Hmm.
Because when you're from that isness, it's like you have that space to not bite the bait. Like the
Yeah.
pattern is trying to signal to you to like go into frozen energy, to go into the reactivity, like the fear-based energy. But
Yeah.
then from the isness, it's like the pattern arises. It's like the invitation is there, but you just don't do anything with it, basically. You just stay neutral to it, but you don't like avoid it either. It's not like a position where you're like trying to like avoid it. It's like if it's like
Yeah.
a in a like a social situation or something, it's like you just flow through it. You just say as that isness. And then that's how you start to break those reactive patterns, even within the dynamics of like relationship.
Hmm.
And it's really cool because you can see like it transforms the other person too. But when you're doing it, it doesn't even it's not like you have to tell them like, oh, you don't even have to say anything about spirituality to someone. It's like the best way to heal someone and to be with someone is just authentically connecting with them. Because the only way
Yeah.
to really authentically fully connect with someone is from that isness. Because what
Mm.
cuts off authenticity, what makes you inauthentic, is when you get in that
Yeah.
fear-based reactivity. And then when you're in that
Yeah.
fear-based reactivity, you're just signaling to that other person to go into that too. You're just inviting them into that. And then there tends to
Right.
be just problems and you don't like fully authentically connect. But the more you're just in that isness, you're just in that present moment and you're not in the reactivity, you're just, it's like you're able to be fully with yourself. And then when you can fully be with your own self, you can fully be with other people and you can meet them on that authentic like level and you can fully connect with them instead of just like meeting them on that reactive fear-based level. And then it's really cool because you
Yeah.
don't even need to talk about spirituality. You can just talk about
Mm.
anything and it's just like an authentic flowing connection, but it can like really bubble into like amazing transformative experiences like by just having a good time with people.
Mm.
Just like laughing or like I mean it could be anything. Sometimes it's like having a good cry with someone or like just
Yeah.
like going through a story or something. But
Yeah. Or maybe just like, be silent also. Like staying in the same place but not talking.
right, yeah, like just not, yeah.
Yeah. And which is like kind of difficult for a lot of people because it's like that's like mm, sometimes it's the most triggering thing, right? Because you feel the need to feel the space, and like you feel uncomfortable with the silence, and you
Right.
start to think a lot of stuff about like how the other person is feeling, or like how you're being perceived, or like how your science is maybe wrong, or
It's like the neutrality, it gets perceived as hostility from the
yeah,
reactive energy, because the reactive energy is trying, it's like reaching for some sort of like outer approval. But then when you're not
right.
giving it that outer approval, you're just being silent. It's like the
Yeah,
reactive
because it's
energy.
also like looking um for like more energy to like to keep
The ba-
itself going,
exactly, yeah.
to fuel itself, right? Like it's like invitations like that get accepted and fuel themselves like with your energy, right? It's the same thing, but from an apparent external source.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
exactly.
like these days? Like for example, with my girlfriend, I had a bit. I mean, I still do. Like, there's a bit of confusion about how to handle like triggers in the healthy way you're talking about. Because like I know about you know um basically resting as easiness or awareness, and letting the trigger happen if there's, because you can't avoid stuff getting moved and like um steered up if there's still stuff that can be steered up, right? You can't like just eliminate that. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen because the stuff is still there, right? But
But yeah, but
uh
you,
yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, but and like with that is like, yeah, stuff, you may still have reactive energy come up, but the key is the way you reclaim that energy is you can be non-reactive to the reactive energy. It's like you can be, instead of spiraling down, you can be the isness to
Yeah,
that. But sorry, yeah, keep going.
no, it's like, because for me, I mean, there's like two or three uh ways I it's been happening for me, and sometimes it's like I know like that's the best thing to like the best way to approach it, but then sometimes it there's still, it's like there's still even if it's not correct, I want to say there's still a part of me that that gets triggered, but there's also like the space that like contains it and is watching it basically, and like it's like I feel there's a need for me to allow that to exist while I'm being the space around it,
Right.
and it doesn't, at least maybe I'm just way more identified with the trigger than I am with the actual space in that moment.
Well,
But it's like I can't, I find that I can't really function the way I maybe would want to when there's that exact moment of the trigger happening. I feel there's
right.
like there's a need for me to just be with it, and
Yeah.
but often that's like not received that well from the other part. But it's
Okay.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So the key is, especially in relationship dynamics, like when it's like more like social involved situations, the key is to tuning into how this isness is unconditional. Like the mind is
Hmm.
constantly trying to put a subtle position or some sort of subtle condition to the isness, like to the unconditionalness. Like it can try to say like, oh, like to be the isness, you had to be the space and you had to sit with the trigger. But that's just the mind trying to position this. The whole way that you transmute the frozen energy within the movement of life and the dynamics of life is being the isness even to the movement. So it's like you can still fully respond to someone and you can still do your best to like talk to her or like handle the situation in the best that you can. But the more that you can do it from that isness instead of sort of like succumbing to that like primal instinctual urge to go into the frozen energy, to go into the reactivity, the more you can kind of like transcend that urge and just flow through it from the isness, that's how the energy starts to flow and develop again. And that's when like the
Mm-hmm.
conversation or whatever starts to develop a little bit. And you might not like be perfect at it at first, because if there's some tension around like a certain thing, it's going to be a little bit rocky. It's going to be a little bit bumpy because there's a
Yeah.
lot of that reactive fear-based energy coming up. But the
Mm-hmm.
way that you start to transmute that and flow through it is in like flowing through it. Like you can be the isness in any movement of life. Like that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
That's the integration, is like being that flow state in anything. It's not just being the flow state sitting still, it's being the flow state
Right.
while talking to someone, while in a sad situation, while in a happy situation, while
Mm-hmm.
in a sport, in an art, in when you're walking. Like it's the integration is in being that isness in every single movement of life. And that's how you start to like flow through and unwind that energy. And even if it's a little bit like rocky and bumpy, you just catch yourself. You just see like, even if you make a mistake or things don't quite come out perfectly or something, you just you don't spiral downwards into that frozen reactive energy. You just keep flowing. You just keep flowing and like kind of like
Yeah.
doing your best, and things will start to open up. And that's really like really receptive for people. Like people actually respond well to that, because you're moving from authenticity, and you're like in that when you're moving, the more you're moving from authenticity, you'll be authentically connecting with that person. And that's how you start to
Mm-hmm.
snap them out of their own hypnosis, out of their own like energy patterns, like is by like meeting them on that authentic level. Because the frozen energy, the reactive energy, it's like you said, it's trying to ping off of both of you to get you
Yeah.
to both like freeze up and do your own sort of like reactive
Yeah.
patterns,
It's
like
like the fight of the pain bodies, right? The way. Yeah.
exactly. And like each and each other's, usually in relationships we tend to be attracted to people who has an opposite sort of coping mechanism as us,
Yeah.
because that kind of maximizes potential from the
Yeah.
pain
Exactly.
body.
Like
But
the most triggered, like the one that can most trigger us, like and trigger
yeah,
the unhealed parts of us, right?
yeah, but then it's the greatest opportunity, because the more that
Yeah.
comes up, the more there is to be transmuted. um
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how you start to snap both of you out of like the hypnosis, out of the pain body, like the reactive energy, is by not succumbing to that frozen energy, because the frozen energy is going to constantly try to put a position to it, because that's all the frozen energy knows. That's the lower mind's
Yeah.
whole problem, is it's
It's a
perpetually
point of view.
yeah, it can't see the
Mm.
transcendent, so it's always reaching for like that like conditional safety, that like conditional positioning, but that just keeps it in that loop of suffering. Like so it's like there will be a part of you, there will be like that primal instinctual urge, that's like the invitation that tells you to stay frozen, or it tells you to put some position to this. But the way that you transmute and integrate the energy is in like relinquishing or not succumbing to that urge. It's in
Mm.
flowing as that isness. And that's when the energy starts to like open up.
Yeah.
Does that kind
Mm.
of make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah. No, I'm thinking about, like real real life like situations that are happening for
Yeah,
me. And like I mean it depends like how, you know, basically grounded in Isness I am, I guess. It depends on like that kind of changes a lot. Like how
yeah,
the thing happens, the situation goes. But like uh, for me mostly it's kind of like maybe something triggering happens and
yeah,
I recognize the trigger is happening and like there's a emotional energy and like also like thoughts that come up with that
right.
and like my if I'm I mean I don't really get as triggered like as so triggered that I like completely unconsciously react and like shut down and just identify completely with the trigger. It doesn't really happen anymore, at least maybe yeah maybe once in a blue moon,
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
not not really completely anymore, but
yeah,
there's like there's definitely times when there's a strong reaction, like at least emotional reaction, even if maybe it's not followed by, you know, behavior or like actual verbal or
Yeah.
behavioral
Yeah.
response. And
Right.
like my what feels right in that moment is just to take a pause, because I feel like if I don't, like I don't seem to be able to maybe speak or like immediately engage with what the other person is saying or doing without the triggered part,
Yeah. No.
without that talking, you know, like I feel
Yeah.
that if I don't take a pause, that's gonna talk on my behalf and do stuff on my behalf, and it's not gonna go well. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be constructive. And so I just feel the need to take a pause.
Right.
And I don't know if that's like a way of shutting down or like avoiding, or I
Well,
don't,
no. So
it
even
doesn't feel like that, but
well, the
it
the key.
doesn't it doesn't completely also feel as right as it could be, maybe, because it's like I'd like to be able to let the thing be there and also be able to function in maybe a more mm, like comprehensive way, like with like also including
And like
uh,
more like flexible and like in the moment.
yeah, like being um detached maybe enough from what's happening in terms of emotions and triggers to like to still be able to behave according to my real, like what my real nature is, mm, like how my real nature would make me behave. And I know it's not like
Yeah.
the
No,
best
yeah,
wording, but
okay.
you
So
know what I mean.
yeah, yeah. So the key is there's nothing wrong with the pause, like because there's no conditions to this. Even if the pause is slightly based on avoidance or like fear or something, that's totally fine. Like you don't want to try to position yourself where you're trying to like force yourself into perfection. That will never work. The true
Hmm.
progression and the perfection happens through that unconditional perfection, that like unconditional, just like that
Yeah,
isness. It's like a more
like
gross
it
example.
is the way it is, basically.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's how eventually you'll definitely get to a point where you don't even have to do the pause. Like you'll just be on the turn of a dime able to just like switch to that isness. Like you'll just be able to like flow right through it. But like a more gross example of what I'm talking about, it's like with an alcoholic. Like if an alcoholic was trying to quit alcohol, it actually wouldn't be productive for them to like demonize and like beat themselves up for being an alcoholic. Like the real most
mm,
effective way to like transmute and like integrate that energy is to just like accept themselves as they are, even if they have urges to drink, like just like accept themselves fully as they are and just being neutral to that energy. And when you can be like that isness to that energy, that's when like the alcoholic may allow themselves to have a couple of drinks, but then as they're drinking it, because they're not caught up in that fear and that frozen energy and that like reactivity, that's when like the energy starts to flow and like a more inspired idea or position comes in. And that's when the alcoholics may be like, you know what, actually, I don't even like drinking that much. And then they're able to
mm,
just like quit like in a very effortless and like healthy kind of way because the energy is
mm.
actually authentically flowing and progressing rather than trying to like suppress it and like force it to change. Because if you're like making a problem out of something and you're trying to force it to change, that's why they say like what you resist persists. Like if you're resisting
Right.
it, it like it perpetuates it. But the way to
Mm.
actually like transmute that energy is just to be totally okay with it. Like you can still, that's the whole thing. That's what I mean about the dynamic thing. It's like you still do whatever you need to do to like, get your energy right. Like if you need it, if taking a pause is what works best for you, that's totally fine. But the key is just be the isness to the pause. Don't beat yourself up for the pause. Because if you do that, that will just make it even worse. Like, and just like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not much that I beat myself up. is like my girlfriend beats me up
Well, right,
basically. Like if she doesn't like she interp I don't know like she sees it as shutting down,
right.
and but like I try to tell her that I like the alternative would be me not lashing out uh, uh I don't
Oh yeah, just like getting like caught up in reactivity and like
yeah.
not giving your most like your truest
Hmm.
response, basically.
Exactly. It's like I'm glad you talked about the alcoholic, because it feels like that. It's like if you if I for example if I drink, I don't know, 5 beers for example, um and then I can be, I can stay as awareness, and I'm gonna notice like the drunkenness and the uh compulsions and all the.
Exactly. You actually, yeah, you're more aware of what's actually happening.
Exactly, but like I'm still aware that I'm not gonna be able to walk straight, and I'm not gonna be able to not be an hassle sometimes, if I speak, because like
Right.
I'm affected by something, and it feels like that sometimes with emotional energy as well. It feels like being high, like on negative stuff, like
Yeah.
on, and it's like if I speak while I'm basically um impaired, like if I'm
Yeah.
drunk on stuff, I'm still gonna be in a way under the influence of something I don't wanna act on, or like speak
Yeah.
on behalf of, and and that's why I feel like the pause is like it's basically saying I'm not gonna drive because I'm really drunk, and even if I stay as awareness while I'm drunk and I'm driving, it's not gonna be like the best thing I can do, right? It's not gonna
Yeah.
be. It's better for me to just wait for the the drunkenness to quiet down, and so I can drive the way I want to drive, and the way, you know or like if we're talking about speaking with the significant other, like I don't want to talk to you while I'm very likely to be a hassle, or to be uh
Yeah. It's like
like aggressive, or like you know
it's like yeah, it's like you actually have clarity to just like
yeah,
respond to the situation in the
yeah,
most like clear way possible. And to it's kind of the same thing as how Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's like the
yeah,
reaction patterns. That's like the emotional patterns. And the emotions, the reactionary stuff, it totally is like drugs because you kind of it actually kind of feels good to go into the reactive energy. You
right,
kind of get that
yeah,
instant like flight like
mm,
dopamine hit or something like there's like that instant
yeah,
like
yeah,
signal of like safety or just like because it's like
yeah,
that familiar pattern it kind of it's like that groove that we're used to and so it's almost a
yeah,
little bit more challenging to flow through and be like the isness but then when you flow through it and you break that pattern it's so much better like
right,
that little speck of dopamine is like nothing to the energetic release and the transmutation when you actually break those patterns and your life starts like flowing again.
yeah, yeah. Because like I guess it's because there's the that energy buildup that happens, and like the most instinctive, or like immediate way, at least for uh
It's to like
y- y-
clamp down on it. It's like that instinctual
right,
urge to like,
or like express it, like put it outward, like fuel,
yeah,
like put
to
put,
do
put
something with it
fire.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, like so it's like it because it's discharge, right? So it feels good to dissipate the energy in that way, but it's also not really dissipating it. It's just dissipating the flare up.
Exactly. It's like soothing the symptoms, but you're not getting at that root. You're not
Mhm.
getting at the root of the charge.
Yeah, and
It's
also you know what it is. It's like um because my girlfriend, she does know a bit about I guess spiritual stuff and like consciousness, etc. But it's
Yeah.
like she's a lot um uh in that mindset of, you know, all of that, like for example therapy, or like
Right. Oh,
about,
that's why you're using these words, bro. That's why you're using the avoidance words. Because you've been talking to her and she probably does she talk about like that kind of thing and like
I mean, no, I mean, I guess, you know, about the, for example, the attachment styles I talked about earlier, it's because, like before maybe being more interested in, you know, spirituality, I was interested more in psychology and like sociology and stuff.
okay, yeah.
Like I had like a a period of my life in which I was like, because I knew I was, I had a lot of problems in relationships, and at some point I recognized that I was like very emotional dependent. So I just found, like I sought, you know, um, like clarity on it, like
I yeah.
with the
So
stuff I,
were you first getting into that like pre-spirituality and then now like more
yeah,
recently that makes well that's great. No, that's cool. And that's like to me that's like deeper integration. It's like you're integrating that knowledge into
yeah,
this wisdom because that stuff is still true. But then
yeah,
before you know
but you
about the
see it,
spirituality stuff, there's less clarity on it. But now it's like
right,
you can get the full benefit of that knowledge without
exactly.
their
And there's no knowledge about, you know, the energetic component of it like
exactly.
before.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, I know. I mean, this is the way, you know, for example, the psychology world sees it and talks about it, but it's not, for sure, it's not the whole picture, but it's kind of cool, and even like maybe useful sometimes to also have the, you know, uh the terminology, like
Oh
the
yeah,
way
exactly.
like
And
to know like what it is in that um context. It's not the whole thing, but it's like, um
and it makes you even more flexible because then you can talk to people about this stuff without even using the spiritual knowledge, but you can still kind
yeah,
of get the wisdom across just even with the psychology terms like kind of thing
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's more yeah
yeah, because for example she's like a lot of she thinks it's really important to, you know, talk about it, and I'm like,
yeah
I mean, I kind of agree, but also, you know, um same thing I was saying earlier about being drunk. You know, it's like, yeah, let's talk about it, but not not when I'm drunk. You know, like it's
right
not always
yeah
the best thing to do to talk about it, especially in the exact moment when I'm triggered. Like for example, when my pain body is triggered, and your pain body is very likely to get triggered by my but by my being triggered. You know, like it's not very. It's the opposite of psychological, you know, healing to do that. It's like you're
yeah
basically
it's
perpetuating the problem by talking
no
about it when it's not the best time to do it.
no yeah exactly yeah yeah, and well, and it's
So
like, I mean, it's like you'll just become more and more dynamic and flexible with it, and like more capable of bringing balance to any situation. Where it's like you'll still be able, the more you're from that isness, and the more you're flowing from that, you'll just have more ability to meet her exactly where she's at, instead
hmm
of like, and it's totally fine. Like now, if there is sort of that like gap where there's just like that gap in communication styles because it sounds like the way that you're handling it is like perfect like just like talking to her and like just in a very like real and like authentic way where
yeah,
you're just saying like this is just like how I handle things like it doesn't even have anything to do with you like I'm just trying
hmm
like this is just how I have to like respond to things and that's like
yeah,
good and like when you meet people like that I feel like they're way more receptive
yeah,
and yeah and you'll just keep becoming more dynamic and her too like you guys will probably both heal together like and it will just because that's kind of the thing is like there's no there's no limits to the isness. Like that's the whole like development or like integration or like progression of energy that happens is like you just keep becoming more flexible and like more smooth and like more gliding. It's like you can just
Yeah,
glide into the movement, any movement of life. Like and
yeah,
and you can do it fully from inspiration. It's like you can meet people where they're at and you can flow exactly into whatever is the
yeah,
best response for them, but not from a place
yeah,
of like reactivity or fear or like people pleasing. It's not in like an anxious like sort of style. It's just from that authentic like inspiration. Like you just keep becoming more yeah, like flexible and gliding and smooth,
mm,
and you can just slide your energy into any experience. Like you can just fully be with anyone in any situation. Um,
yeah, like being like water, right?
exactly.
Something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like
Yeah.
that's what they say. Like it's like yeah,
Mm,
like the flow. And it's funny.
mm,
It's like I was thinking about how they even talk about that in martial arts. Like the whole way that like
mm,
they teach you to beat your opponent in martial arts is they teach you like you don't push back on them, you don't resist them. You flow
yeah,
with their energy, you flow with their resistance, and you redirect it. And so that's
yeah,
even like that's the whole thing. That like the martial arts is like on a more gross level of what you do with the subtle energetics. It's like you flow with the energy and then you're able to redirect it upwards, like towards
yeah,
resolution and like peace, but it just happens effortlessly. It's not even that you're trying to like subtly force anything into happening. You're just in that
yeah. Because
unconditionalness.
yeah, 'cause it's understanding that I guess it's because you understand that the energy is just one. Like there's only one energy, and so like it doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
like
So
fight energy with energy because it's the same thing. It's just you just get it from where it's going already, and you just redirect it in a way, but not really. You're just being the container, and you allow it
you're
to
you're just not
redistribute
reacting to it.
itself. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you're being like that pure potentiality. And that pure
yeah,
potentiality is fully flexible because it's like the screen of a movie is fully flexible. Like the screen, you can always be the screen. The frozen energy is like the movie on the screen that tries to tell you that you have to go into the reactivity. But you can always just be that isness. You can be the screen to like anything that's happening. Um,
hmm,
and that's how you like step out of those patterns, those cycles.
yeah. So let's say I take a pause, and then maybe I need to process the drunkenness,
Yeah.
and so there's this thing about. So she kind of knows about my way of processing stuff and dealing with it. And I mean, I already told her that that's the way I mean, that's the way everyone heals basically. But let's say that's the way I heal, right? And
Right.
and like there's this thing she says a lot about. I mean, she's not sure that my the fact that I am triggered sometimes is gonna get better by doing
Right.
this.
Right.
Because she's into
The
psychology and
therapy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
therapy stuff. And I mean, she always tells me about.
Oh,
Sorry,
I lost. Okay.
yeah, she always tells me about like how I need to go to therapy as well, and like I need to address the stuff on, I guess, on a psychological level, which I
Right.
kind of am already, but I'm not doing it from the mind body.
Yeah.
And which is what we know is not the, I mean, most efficient thing to do, because sometimes you kind of get lost in it, or like maybe you kind of also can make it worse. It
Right.
also like
Yeah.
perpetrates the mind
Well,
identification uh thing.
yeah.
So
Well,
and so she's like, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. She's not sure I like this is gonna change, like my being triggered when some stuff happens, or when she says some things. And but I don't. I mean, it's kind of difficult for me to uh
The,
like to agree with that, you know.
okay, yeah. So the key is the best response is always going to come from the isness, because that's when you have inspired responses. That's when you just
Mm,
are kind of intuitively guided to respond in the best way possible. And sometimes, I mean, that could be like being silent, or that could be like saying something. Um, and the key is too is that you don't have to react to her reactivity, even if you are like in the isness and that like kind of triggers her. You don't have
mm,
to spiral downwards and like react to her reactivity in any way. You can just flow as the isness, and from the more you're the isness and you're flowing through and you're not getting frozen up or into the fear, you can still honor her trigger. You can still talk to her and meet her and like do whatever you need to do to kind of like settle
mm,
her or like find resolution. But the more you lift the business, the more you'll just be creatively responding instead of reactively. Like you don't like
yeah.
you'll be, and that's when you become more and more better at resolving those situations. And the key is too is you don't ever really have to talk about this stuff with her. Like it's fine to talk about this stuff with her. Like she's your girlfriend and you're super into
Mm,
this, so it makes sense that
yeah.
you would want to like talk
Hmm.
about this sometimes, but you just got to be careful. You have to tune into that difference in the energy, because a lot of times the mind will hijack that, where it's like we have so much love for this and we have so much love for the other person and we know that this works. And so the mind will hijack that love by when we have some sort of like usually when we try to tell people about this stuff, usually what it's coming from is we have a subtle discomfort or a subtle reactive energy around their discomfort or their tension, and
Yeah.
we don't quite like it. So we try to
Mm,
like correct it by telling them like, oh, you need to do the isness stuff, or you
yeah.
like you should try that, you should try what I do. But when you do it like
Mm,
that, when you're subtly like trying to like shake them awake or subtly trying to like just even
yeah.
if it's even on the subtlest levels, if you're trying to like coerce someone into this, it never ever works, because it's just that
Yeah.
reactive energy. It's like the opposite of what you're really trying to do. So it's like
Hmm.
the more
It's repellent,
ex-
basically.
ex-
Like the more you try,
exactly, where it's like the way
yeah,
to
to let
really
it go.
open her eyes to this is to just live it, because the more you
Yeah.
live this, you'll just be in an amazing energy. You'll be fully flexible and dynamic and able to meet her anywhere, and you'll just be like really in that flow state, just like in your highest potential. And then you won't even have to talk about this stuff. She'll just see
Hmm.
you living it, and she'll be curious, like, and you'll be transmuting her energy by not succumbing to her reactive patterns. So she will naturally fall more into alignment with like into this like lifestyle, like this way of living, just by
Hmm.
you living it and like not succumbing to those patterns, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think like in this, uh, like I don't, I mean, I kind of am, I feel I kind of am like at that stage, I think.
Yeah.
Like I don't really, and I got like a bit surprised when I realized it, because like for example with my mom, I was more like this. Like I was trying to get
Correct
her
her.
into, yeah, but like
Yeah.
with my girlfriend is like you do you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like sometimes like because I noticed in her like a lot of stuff that would be uh like that she would benefit from this a lot. And I like when she asks me, like I tend to just say my take when she asks for it, like when she asks for advice or like my opinion. But it's not like I am like that's that's kind of the difference. I mean not to sound like um resentful or something, but it's like I noticed that she kind of wants me to heal stuff her way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
while I'm like I really think that like that she would benefit and she would really heal from her stuff by doing what I do in a way. But
Yeah.
I don't really care. It's not really a problem for me if she doesn't.
Yeah. It's like,
Uh,
well, it's like you can have discernment without judgment. Whereas like
Yeah,
judgment is
yeah,
like hijacked discernment. It's when you start like saying it needs to be this way.
yeah, exactly. I don't really, like what I think is that I don't really care because I'm not really affected by like the fact that it's
You're not,
not really a problem if she doesn't
yeah, you're not getting,
take.
you're not labeling it a problem. Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not yeah, it just doesn't affect me. It's not like something because like she wants me to
Yeah. No, yeah, I know
like
what you mean.
to go to therapy because she like because my triggers trigger her, and so if I go to therapy she won't get triggered, but like in like from my stance is like her triggers mostly I just see them as triggers, and I just see them as unhealed stuff, but I don't really get
You don't see it
triggered
as
by
a
them.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's negative energy, but it doesn't
And,
intoxicate me as
and
much.
and you see it in the context that it's all opportunity too.
Yeah, also, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
mostly. I don't
Well,
want to,
okay, yeah. No, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to sound
But
like it's like 100% of the time because it's not. But I
oh,
just
right. But
I
I just
just see
mean
that. Yeah,
overall, you know that even if sometimes
yeah,
you get pulled, that's kind of like your default state is like it's
yeah.
just sometimes you get pulled, you may get, and like that's true for me too. Like none of us are perfect, like, but it is like you do become better and better. It just,
Hmm.
yeah, not biting the bait.
Yeah. So yeah,
um
that's what I'm dealing with right now.
no, yeah, yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean that sounds good. Yeah, and like you may, I mean, because the thing is, and I feel like it's really good that you're like
Yeah.
integrating all that knowledge you had of the psychology and stuff too, because that's really powerful. That's kind of what I've been into too. Because the thing is, when you actually look into therapy and psychology and any type of healing,
Yeah.
whether it's like psychoanalysis or it's like a body based healing or something, it actually all does come down to
Yeah.
this same mechanism. It's about neutralizing the energy. And so you
Hmm.
may be able to find certain ways to just subtly like find ways to describe this and not probably most of the time it's like I said you won't even
Yeah.
be talking about this that much to her because usually when we try to force this on people it's coming from that reactive energy, but there may be certain moments where you can talk about this in a way where
Yeah.
you
Of
can
course.
clarify that it's not, this is not actually any different than the therapy because the whole way
Yeah.
that therapy works, they even talk
I
about
always
this, they,
I always tell her that like the times when therapy is effective and it works is because it sometimes I mean like mostly it's when it like it goes into it goes beyond the mental body
yeah,
basically the
so
mental mode, and there's like a release of some sort, like a release of
what,
resistance of some sorts, and that's when the healing happens. And
yeah,
like in
and you,
psychology they think it's about the mental gymnastic they do, but actually it's
well,
like when
well,
they give space to like something beyond, and like that gives the space for the unhealed stuff to transmute basically.
yeah, well, yeah, no, and the key is you can explain it even more like simply and neutrally than that. Because the thing is, when you're talking to someone that's not into this stuff, you have to be careful about every single word you use. Like
Yeah,
if you drop the word like healing or something, I mean, I don't know, it's different. Like you know your girlfriend,
yeah, yeah.
obviously, but like it's like sometimes we want to sneak in these little spiritual words, but that will just completely shut off the person. But
Yeah.
you can explain this stuff in a way which doesn't even go
Yeah.
into it like that. Because the thing is, the highest scientists, like the top researchers with this stuff, they say the exact same thing. The way they
Mm.
explain it, like hold on, I'm trying to look up his name real quick.
Is it
It's
Hugh
Be-
Huberman?
Bess Bessel, no, Bessel van der Kolk. He's the guy who wrote The Body Keeps the Score. It's like that really famous
Ah,
trauma.
yeah.
His whole thing, the way he
Is
says that
it
you,
Gabor Mate? No. Yeah.
no, not, no, he does the same thing too, but this is, it's
Oh.
Bessel van der Kolk. He wrote
Oh, okay.
it's called The Body Keeps the Score. It's like it's kind
Okay.
of an older book, but it's a really famous trauma book. But like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's a legit scientist. He is really into the trauma and the psychology stuff. But his whole thing, the way they talk about healing trauma is that you neutralize it through present moment awareness. And that's what therapy
Mm-hmm.
is. When you go into talk therapy, if it works,
Yeah.
what's happening is you're invoking that energy by talking about it, you're activating that reactive energy, and then you're neutralizing it by not reacting to it. You're flowing through it, and then you're settling it, you're neutralizing it by being with it without reacting to it. And that
Yeah.
explanation might actually like kind of land with your girlfriend because that's like
Mm-hmm.
super simple and easy to see. It's literally like that's what talk therapy is. You're talking about the challenging experience and then you're just being with it. And then the therapist, the whole job of the therapist is to serve as a sort of model in terms of how to be with that energy without reacting to it, to just neutralizing
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's what talk therapy is. And talk therapy can be beneficial, but it's like you said,
Yeah.
whether it works or whether it doesn't work is whether it's coming from this where you're neutralizing the energy or if it's
Yeah.
happening in a reactive way where you're just like perpetuating it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I mean, I don't know if you agree, but to me it's like, are you staying on the mental body or are you like transcending it basically? Because if you're staying on the mental body, it's like you're identifying with the stuff you're talking about in
well,
talk therapy, right?
yeah, well, and the thing is, people are transcending the mental body all the time. It's not like you only transcend the mental body after self realization. Every
Mm-hmm.
single progression of life, anytime you get better at
Yeah.
anything, any movement of
Mm-hmm.
progression happens when you slip into that transcendence. Because when you go
Yeah,
to the
like
transcendence,
accidentally, basically.
exactly, that's what people
Yeah.
do. When people get obsessed with any sport or any art or they're really good at something, it's because they
Mm-hmm.
keep hitting that flow state, they keep hitting that isness during that activity, and then they keep getting better and better at it. So that's like
Yeah,
people are
that's why people talk about a lot about getting a hobby, and
exactly.
it's because of that. Yeah.
And that's how you get better at literally anything because the screen is what transmutes energy. That's what progresses and develops things. So anyone who's getting better at anything, they're doing this. They're slipping into that neutrality. Like everyone has had resolution in their life and stuff. They just don't understand the underlying mechanism of how it happens. But it happens
Yeah.
when you just slip into that neutrality. Like, and that's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and like that's I a lot of people talk about like flow state nowadays, and that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
everyone has had moments where they're living in the flow state and they're kind of like performing at their highest potential. It's also the same thing as like what is it like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or whatever, like
Mm.
that peak human experience where everything is perfect. That's the flow
Yeah.
state. That's like that isness. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we like that's what people do during therapy without even realizing. Like when they have authentic release and like resolution of their problems, it's basically because a very high level therapist is basically they're an energetic model. They're even if they don't know about this stuff, if they're performing
Yeah.
at a high level, they're extremely proficient at resting as that neutrality, as resting as that transcendent layer, because that's true for any master of their craft. It's like with an athlete, the reason they're a master
But
is because they can be that isness even to the most intense energies, the most intense experiences. And that's what the therapist is doing. The therapist is being with that person's energy from that neutrality. And then by serving as that neutral model, the other person can start to like reflect that and do that as well. And that's when like they reach resolution. Is
hmm
like
yeah, that's when the unraveling happens,
ex-
basically.
exactly. That's when they start to feel better. Like and they start to have like real transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even what
Yeah.
like that's like Young's whole thing, like Young and like the shadow and like
The shadow,
integrating.
yeah.
Like
Like,
it's
yeah,
basically
like good shadow work is basically that.
yeah,
But a
it's
lot of
basically
people like just stay into the like they go fully into the past experience, for example, and don't even like they don't
and
see it from the from the space or from the you know
and
like
they,
from
they
the context. Like it's just like
exactly
they identified it, like on it. and that just fuels it, I guess.
And they begin it from a false premise, because if you begin the shadow work from the belief that there's something wrong so that you need
Mm,
to do something to fix it, it's like you're starting off in that reactive fear-based energy, and so everything that
yeah,
you do from there is like inherently compromised and distorted. That's why, like David says, like you don't actually have to go looking for any of this stuff. Like it actually, life will just serve you your shadows in the form of whatever people and challenges you have going
yeah,
on in your life. Like you never really have to dig for it. Sometimes you can be inspired to sort of invoke that energy. Like I've had moments where I'm just talking to someone and it starts to go in a direction where like we may start to talk about like our trauma or something. And it just like in that moment, it can happen in like an inspired way where it's like you're going into the energy, and you're just being with it, and then that can start to like feel some of that like very like frozen fragile energy. But like when it happens like that, it just happens from that like natural flow of life, from inspiration, instead of like being stuck on that wheel of reactivity where you're just like trying to perpetually like dig for shadows or something, or like
hmm
or like with therapy, it's kind of like it feels like it's kind of just like throwing shit at the wall. Well, that sounds bad. Not like throwing shit, but like just like throwing stuff at the wall. I mean, seeing what
yeah,
sticks. Like it doesn't have like a super high success rate because they don't
hmm
understand those underlying mechanisms. They're kind of just hoping that things resolve from talking about it. But you could
yeah,
actually, you can do it really quickly when you understand the neutrality. You can like really like speed through that resolution. And then you start to get momentum and you get even more inspired to keep doing it. It starts to, it's like your whole life can start to like transmute and flow.
hmm
And it's really encouraging because it's like you see that it works.
Do you know, like, I mean, I wanted to ask you, like, what's the, what would be the best, like, what's the, if you have like kind of a more structured, I guess, process to do that. But I also wanted, because like these past, I don't know, weeks, I mean, it's kind of been a recurring like a thing that has showed up for me um many times during like the last couple months, I guess. It's I don't know if you know there's a teacher, Helen Hamilton.
Yeah.
She gets like um shared a lot on the, I think, on the some of the group
The
chats.
David group. Yeah,
Like,
I'm familiar with
yeah,
her.
like by, I think I also saw like Fern on one of her videos, like on the question
Oh,
and
really?
answer,
Yeah,
yeah,
Fern.
segments.
I know Fern sends her stuff a lot, so that's cool.
Yeah. And I mean, she's really really good. Like I think she's very, like she's very similar to, I mean, not very similar to David in the way she talks about stuff, but like her level of understanding, and like she's really, you know, legit. And
Right.
but and that's why I got, like, there's something for me to understand about because there's something she talks about. She's very keen on, I mean, generally on questions, on asking questions,
Uh-huh.
and
Like
to
inquiry.
exactly, but like she divides it into, you know, self-inquiry, so questions about, you know, the true nature, like
Yeah.
what am I, or like where am
Yeah.
I, or like all of that stuff. And also, like, she's very clear about the fact that it needs to be a question that doesn't need to be answered by the mind, right? It just needs
Yeah.
to be
Sure.
asked,
Yeah.
and then like let it basically resonate while you're being
The
awareness, right?
neutrality.
Or
Yeah. The
isness.
isness. Yeah.
Exactly. And that, like, I guess, let the energy move, I guess, like the energy of identification with the
Yeah.
ego, I guess, and that like transmutes it. And then
Yeah.
she has this other, which is not really a different thing if you go like, if you see it, if you like really think about it. But she divides self-inquiry from something she calls contemplation.
Right.
And it's like
Yeah.
she like for example, she says that if you have, areas of your life where things are not flowing, and like you
Yeah.
would want something better or like something different, even that
Right.
she, like for especially when negative emotions flare up or get triggered, she's like, I mean, of course you have to, I guess, allow the emotion, or just like being effortless being while the emotion is showing up, right? Like
Yeah.
offering no resistance to the energy, right? And then she says, um, a very effective and like efficient way to, um, I mean, to, to to change your experience as well, but also like to
Yeah.
transmute all of the
Y-
energies. And
Yeah.
she says like, um the allowing the emotion is very important. It's like the first step, but also the emotion is there because of an underlying belief.
Yeah.
And she's like the process is basically you ask the energy that is showed up. You ask like, what do you want to say, like what's the,
Yeah.
if you could talk, what would you say, right? And like, generally something shows up, like I'm not wanted, or like, I'm not good enough, or I can't get what I want. Like it's usually, or like I'm not safe, if it's fear, for example. it
Right.
it, it changes, depending on the person and on the specific
Yeah.
subject.
So
And um, and then she says, then you take that statement that comes from the emotion, and you just transform it as a question. And you ask, like, for example, is it real that I'm not good enough, for example? And just like
sure.
treat it as a, like as you do with the self inquiry question. So it's like you don't really try to answer it with the mind. You just let something unfold from there, like,
Yeah.
answers that come from your experience, which can be mind answers, but also like, energetic answers, or like
Yeah.
any kind of
So
phenomenon answer. Yeah, sorry.
well, okay. Well, so was that it? Was that kind of just like
Yeah, like, the only other thing is that she says that, you don't focus on the answers. You just let them come up, and then you just put your attention you just ask the question again, and that the very end of it comes not even when there are like energetic shifts, like when you feel, for example, the relief or the resistance
yeah.
softening. It's like the thing is
Uh,
resolved in a way when there's
yeah.
a non-phenomenal answer. So when
Uh,
basically the only thing that remains is just effortless being, and like the
yeah.
question doesn't even make sense to ask it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So the key is when inquiry and contemplation works, it's when it's coming from inspiration and like what inquiry is. And I think you already kind of know this just the way that you described it, but it's inquiry. It's like you're turning thought in on itself. It's like you're using thought, you're turning it in on itself by using some sort of question, like what she does, to sort of invoke that energy and activate that energy. And then when she's telling you to just like allow it, she's like, that's like switching to the neutrality. And then you can contemplate the energy. It's like you can go deeper into the energy and you can activate it more from that neutrality. Um, but the thing that I don't like about that is it sounds like unnecessary convoluted, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Like if that feels good and inspiring, that can be good because that's the thing. There's no conditions to inspiration. You can be inspired to any movement to heal. But the thing that I don't like about that is it kind of implies that you need to like subtly come up with the right questions or something to like provoke the energy to neutralize it. But it's not really like that. Like when she talks about having those beliefs, like the beliefs that activate the emotions, what the beliefs are, those are subconscious programming. And like the way that I describe the subconscious programming is it's the mental activity which is subtler than words. That's like the context. It's like right
Mm-hmm.
now, you would have a context running that's saying something like, I'm sitting here, I have my headphones on, I'm talking to Zane, we're talking about Helen Hamilton, and we're talking about this, this, and this. And that's all a subtle context running, which is shaping this experience, but you're not expressing it in the form of words. Like it's just a subtle framing. It's like a,
Pre-verbal.
yeah, it's just like a perspective which is running. And lots of
Mm-hmm.
context is good. It's not that you want to get rid of all context. You want to have
Right.
context. It's like if you're like right now, that's a good context to have. Or if you're at the grocery store, you want to have the context running that says, like, I'm at the grocery store and this is what I'm looking for. And that's good because you don't
Yeah.
want to have to keep reminding yourself in the form of words, like what is going on.
Otherwise, I guess I would start to kind of have hallucinations, like it
Exactly.
happens with
Exactly. Like
the LSD or something.
context is all, it's actually safety mechanisms. It's keeping you safe
Mm-hmm.
in the relative world. But then the key is
Yeah.
you don't want to be unconsciously driven by contexts which are based on fear. And that's sort of what she's getting at when she talks about the belief systems which like perpetuate the bad emotions. But the key
Mm-hmm.
is the first person experience of those belief systems is not words because they've been refined down to the context. They're just subtle
Mm-hmm.
mental activity. So the first person experience of those belief systems is the mental resistance. It's that subtle frozen energy around the emotions. That's the root of all emotional suppression and emotional like reactivity and problems is it's the subtle resistance that we put up to the emotion. And they even talk about that like in science. Like it's the root of emotional repression is like that subconscious resistance. It's like that subconscious programming which clamps down on the emotion and prevents it from flowing and resolving and settling. Because your emotions are actually constantly trying to resolve. They're trying to like
Mm-hmm.
flow up and out and like progress and unfold. It's just that subtle, it's the tendency. That's what I love that word that David uses. He says that like any trauma or tension, it's just a tendency. It's a tendency to go into contraction. And that tendency is that subconscious programming. It's that frozen energy, which signals to you to stay frozen. It signals to you to go into the reactiveness and to not be the isness. But the way, like, it's just like we've been talking about, the whole way you transmute that stuff, you don't even have to inquire into it. You just live your life from the isness, and naturally things will be provoked. Like different challenging energies and stuff will be invoked and like activated, and like you may have emotional reactivity come up. But the key is
Mm-hmm.
you can always be the transcendent neutrality. You can be the isness even to the challenging emotions, even to the situation or the movement or whatever's coming up. And that's how you start to unfold it. And so, like, that's what she's doing. And I'm not saying that that's bad. Like, that, it's like, that can be good if it's coming from inspiration and it just feels like right and it's like working. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess what I'm just trying to explain is like the underlying mechanisms of what's happening there. Because that's what the inquiry and the contemplation is. It's turning thought in on itself, it's activating that energy so that it can be neutralized in present moment awareness. Present moment awareness is just like that isness, like that transcendent neutrality, like effortless impersonal being. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, sometimes you can feel inspired to do that and it can be right and it can be effective. But I think for a lot of people, I would assume for most people that are doing that, it probably turns into a practice and a reactive thing where it's not working for them every single time. But the
Mm-hmm.
isness, when you do the isness, it's 100% success rate. It never doesn't work. Every time you switch to the isness, to whatever degree you're the isness, the energy transmutes and it starts to flow and it starts to progress. But it's very paradoxical because from the isness, you're not trying to progress. You're not trying to make anything happen. You can still be responding to life. It's like if you're arguing with your girlfriend, you can still respond to her and like meet her where she's at. But from the isness, you're not labeling the present moment a problem in any way, even if there's challenging emotions. You're not even labeling them a problem. You're just allowing everything to be exactly as it is. And that's the very like paradoxical and mysterious thing about it. That's why the manifestation people say when you stop wanting it, that's when it comes. But the
Mm-hmm.
authentic stopping wanting it is from the isness. It's not in trying to like subtly suppress it and say, like, oh, I don't want it, but you secretly still do want it. It's just, and it's exactly like she said, it's like when you're not trying to do anything with it, you're just allowing it to be exactly as it is. And
Yeah.
that's when the energy starts to like transmute and refine and open up.
Mm-hmm. Because it's also like, I guess it's the problem is the resistance to the wanting, right? It's not even the wanting, because if there's wanting,
Yeah,
it's gonna be there.
the wanting flows from the resistance, because the wanting
Yeah.
is like, it's basically like the resistance is like, it's like the feeling of lack. It's like the feeling of something being
Mm,
wrong with the moment in some way. So the wanting is wanting to correct that. The wanting is
mm,
like wanting to fill that void. And that's the eternal folly of the mind, is that it's eternally trying to fulfill a void on a level that it just it can never find its answer. Like it
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, I definitely like agree with basically everything you said. Like, that's why mm, I really like feel drawn to like uh, dig deeper about this stuff of contemplation, because I feel there's something to it, but I don't, I really want to be taking it as,
And that kind of thing can be great, like if it's coming from inspiration, because you can like really speed things up. Like you can activate
mm.
energy and neutralize it by that kind of thing, like for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the 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 reason why like this contemplation kind of there's I feel there's like something for me uh like about it. It's that I don't I like yeah it's in a way it's a way maybe to like speed things up, but not just to speed things up, but just like to um like be more efficient with the processing, I guess. And sometimes I got the feeling that by being as isness, I mean, of course, I haven't like I don't I'm not like 100% of the time I'm not staying as isness. I mean, I
Right.
guess like you, I mean, like what I mean. You can't not stay as isness, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not like
Sometimes, yeah,
yeah,
I get it. Sometimes you go into the reactive energy. Yeah,
yeah, and like and also I maybe I have the I kind of think that um that like stuff shows up because you said you said that if you stay as isness, stuff is gonna show up. Like for example, like stuff is showing up in my relationship, for example, and it's like the perfect training ground to
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like showing up and offering me stuff that it's very useful for me to transmute and process, right? But
yeah,
sometimes I get that I kind of think that for example, let's say I have um there's like this like the area of finances, for example, or like work and career that is like
yeah,
not corresponding to how I want it to be, for example, right? And it's
yeah.
like maybe it shows up in my awareness not so much, like it's not because maybe it's like not
I
as I want
oh,
it to be, but it's
it's
not like
it's kind of like you don't even have any movement in that direction, so there's not even much opportunity for the energy to
right,
activate. So you want to use the contemplation to get it flowing, to get it
right,
activating a bit. Like,
right, because otherwise it's like it's very slow, maybe
yeah.
even though it's not because it's not
So
it's not as
no,
bad like as that like
the,
the energy is moving
the,
a lot and it's showing up a lot in my experience so that it can transmute, but it's
the,
also not as good as
the
so that it is as I want it to be, right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean that's the same thing. It's like especially with that, and that was true for me too. Like I think we even talked about that a little bit when we were talking like months ago. It's like we were both kind of in
Mm.
that mode where we're just trying to like manifest a ton of money and like just hope it
Hmm.
like all magically
Yeah.
like comes to us. Um, But the problem is, like, when you start to get in that mode, what you don't realize is you actually start to freeze yourself in place and you start to put up all kinds of conditions. You actually start to
Mm-hmm.
become like very conditional because you don't realize that when you're saying, like, oh, I'm just going to sit. And of course, like, I wasn't even formulating it in words. Like, I wasn't saying, like, I'm just going to sit in my room.
Right.
But that kind of was what I was trying to do. I was trying to just magically have a bunch of money come to me. But when you do it
Mm-hmm.
like that, you cut yourself off from so much movement and dynamics of life because you're basically you have a very like one-dimensional perspective of like how life is supposed to unfold. Um, but so the key is like when you have a lot of frozen energy around like career, like finances, and like that kind of thing. What I have found is, well, for one, yeah, the contemplation can be very good because you can start to contemplate different things around money and different like belief systems that you sort of like structured. Like I think a big one that everyone that watches David falls into is because the way that he talks about how his thing developed, he makes it sound like, and I mean, it's not really him, like, but it's just the way it gets hijacked is that it kind of makes it sound like you can never pursue any career because if it's right for you, everything will just magically appear for you. like, like
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to someone who like, uh, they had like a business and they hadn't done like any marketing or anything whatsoever to like generate customers for their business and they were having a ton of problems and like their business was like really crumbling and not working because they had frozen themselves into place where they thought like, oh, I can't even talk about my business because that would mean that
Mm-hmm.
I'm like seeking for business. Like if I'm really there, like everything would just magically come to me. But the key
Yeah,
is
but also like if you're not doing something because you're like putting mental restrictions on it, so it means you're not really staying as effortless being while you're doing that.
y-
If there's the mind story
exactly.
of
It's
not
actually it's
that you
subtly
you can't
avoidant.
do something, yeah, that you can't do something is you're basically trying to direct the energy, which is not like
It
something that
doesn't
you,
work. It's subtly
yeah,
fear based. But so
yeah.
so my advice would be just start doing some movement in that area. And the mind, the frozen energy tries to signal to you like, no, like you need to wait for the right idea to come. But you don't actually have to. It's the same as like with the relationship. Well, it sounds like with your relationship, it was pretty smooth. But like
Mm-hmm.
it's like with that kind of thing, like it may start out a little bit bumpy and you may make like some mistakes but like what I meant is like in the way that the relationship gives you all the opportunity to transmute that energy, that's what sort of pursuing the financial and career stuff can do. Like even if you make the completely wrong move and you just like go and do something that you're just like, oh, this was totally not what I should have done. That will at least get
Mm-hmm.
that energy to start to activate, and then you can pivot from there. And then that's how you will start to generate motion is by like just going and doing shit. Like just go and like randomly like I don't know, like apply for a job or something, or start looking into like different options and stuff. Like just start trying stuff, even if it doesn't feel completely right just by like sort of getting some motion going there, you'll start to find a groove and you'll start to find a flow and you'll start to like refine things and you'll start to invite more opportunities. Like you'll start to activate and flow that energy. Like I think that's the key is like it's like Nike's slogan, like just do it, like just do something. And then even if it's not the
Mm-hmm.
right thing, you'll be able to pivot from there. Cause from that isness, you're super flexible and you're super dynamic. And so you actually even if you make mistakes, like you respond to them in the best way possible. And that's what every successful business owner will tell you. Like every business owner, they always say that thing of like, you have to fail 1,000 times to like have to hit gold. Like that's just like a thing in like career and finances a lot of times is like flowing through failure and like kind of just like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But the key is from the isness, you don't react to the mistakes. So you can still flow through the mistakes and you progress in the best way possible. And then the more you do that, you will just continue to refine and develop that energy and like get better and better. And then it's like, even if you started off totally off track and it was like not the right thing, over time, you will very quickly like fall into alignment. And also, I find it's kind of like beautiful and amazing because the more frozen energy that we have around something, the less movement and progression that we have, like if it's around career or finance, it's like there's such a charge, there's such an abundance of untapped
Mm-hmm.
energy that a lot of the time, as soon as we start to flow through that even a little bit, it's like the universe like like meets us in the middle. It's like it tends to not ever really be nearly as challenging as we thought it was going to be. It's like when you actually start to flow through some of the challenges, it actually is not that bad, and the universe will like bless you with opportunity and like meet you in the middle. And like that's when like little synchronicities and like opportunities and things start to kind of like magically flow into the experience.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make like does that kind of resonate? Like just kind of like going and like just like getting some of that energy going, like just seeing like
Yeah. I mean, it kind of seems to me that you're approaching it from a more, I guess, physical level, like physical meaning, you know, outer, experiential, like basically
well,
approaching
I
it
mean
from the
there is no outer. Like the physical level is your
right,
energy. Like that's
right, right,
that,
right.
like
But like I mean mm, like from that dimension, I guess. And while like maybe the contemplation stuff is more about addressing it from um I don't know, it's like it's like I don't know, I'm getting like an image of like an image of the video game, for example, analogy. It's like you- you're talking about doing stuff inside the game so that it stirs up the energy
well,
and like it
the
gets.
thing is, the physical world is your mental energy. The physical world is your
Hmm.
mental energy outpictured in a more gross
Hmm.
way. So you're still
Yeah.
interacting with the mental energy. It's just
Right.
my point is you can do both. Like the mind, the frozen energy will try to signal to you to freeze into place and to say, "Oh, I need to contemplate and contemplate until I eventually get to this point where I'm inspired enough to take action." But that kind of thing,
Hmm.
that's just the frozen energy like trying to signal to you to stay frozen. I'm not saying that you shouldn't contemplate. Like my point, my whole thing is unconditionalness. My whole point is embodying and integrating every movement of life, like both the mental and the physical. Like that's where all the power is when you can do both. And like really what I mean by that example of by kind of like just giving it a go, that's what happened to me with my YouTube channel. It's like when I first started my YouTube channel, it didn't feel perfect. Like I had been waiting for years like because I
Hmm.
was in that mode where I was thinking, oh, I'll just like contemplate stuff and like I'll just like eventually one day like lightning will strike and I'll just have this amazing idea and then everything will just be perfect and then like I won't have to do anything at all. But like if you do it like that, you could just stay frozen for the rest of your life. Like for me, the way the YouTube channel started developing is I just started going at it. Like I just started giving it a go. And at first there was some like reactive fear-based energy around it and like the stuff wasn't perfect. But the more that I just flowed through it and still like did both, like the more I was able to like integrate and develop and refine that energy. And then now it really is like pretty effortless. It's like now it really is like it's really opened up
Hmm.
and it's created its own sort of like perpetual motion where now
Yeah.
even on its own it's like perpetually like feeding me and it's both enriching and like elevating me but also activating challenges exactly how the relationship does. So like on its
Right.
own it's like creating that energetic like progression. And that's my point. I'm kind of what I'm saying is I'm saying you're almost like it's like your energy around career. It's like a lawnmower, and you want to get that lawnmower going. Like you want to get some motion going. You want to get that propeller firing, and you can come at it from multiple different angles. Like I'm not saying that the contemplation is bad. Like it's good. I'm all for that. But I'm just saying the frozen energy is constantly trying to condition things. It's constantly trying to tell you, like, oh, you can only do the contemplation, or you can only
Hmm.
do the physical approach, or you can only do this or that. But
Okay.
really, from the isness, you can do anything. And the more flexible and dynamic you are, that's how you start to like, it's like you're stirring up more of that energy and you start to, yeah, it starts to get um motion. And also, as you get motion and you get flowingness, you start to build charge and magnetism. And that's when you start to attract opportunities. That's like with some people, like who are like just like business mongols, and it feels like they're just constantly effortlessly attracting like opportunities. It's because that energy for them is so flowing and it's so like perpetual and it's built such a like a magnetic charge that it's like it almost has its own gravity. It's like it starts to build its own orbit. And like that's what happens with any area of your life. The more you develop and flow, the energy is like it it almost starts to take a life of its own, but like in a good way, where it's like it's does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm yeah, like the only I mean I guess this is the I guess it's the stuck energy talking, but um it's like for me there's it kind of feels like it maybe got worse in a way. Like even in this past few months, it's like there's not mm, even a slight like um like will to go into any uh,
So so a good No, that makes sense. Well, so a good contemplation to be would be playing around with like contemplations around any resistance that you would have to certain movements. Like, would you have resistance to like applying for a job, or would you have resistance to like pursuing a business, or would you have resistance to like doing this or that? Like, you can contemplate those kinds of experiences and activate that energy. And then that's how you can resolve it on a more subtle level. It's like if you have resistance to applying for a job, you can contemplate and activate that energy and like you can imagine yourself doing that, and then you can neutralize that resistance around it, and then you can still then that's when you can start to flow through it on a more gross level, on a more effortless way. Like does that
mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I get what you're saying. Like, and it makes sense. It's just like, for example, in terms of applying for a job, like the only reason why I would do that is because it would give me money, but like,
right?
which is not, a not valid reason, valid enough reason to do it. Like, I guess that would be okay just to do it just for the
Yeah, because
money, right?
you can be inspired by the practicality of life. It's like if you're hungry, you're going to be inspired to go get food. Like
Yeah.
you need money in the relative world, and the more integrated you are, it's like you're integrated into the relative, and you can still earn money. And the more that you activate that energy and you flow through the frozen energy, the more you'll be able to earn money from a place which is embodying those qualities that you love, like from
Mm,
effortlessness and like joy and like inspiration and
yeah.
creativity and all the amazing things. But in order for
And that
that
would,
energy to develop to
yeah,
that
to move.
point, you have to flow through the frozen energy. And it may be rocky at first. Like it may be
Right.
kind of like reactive and fear based. But the thing is,
Hmm.
because you have this deep, deep wisdom, you know the primordial source of transmutation, you can
Hmm.
level up extremely quick. Like you can have like quantum leaps through any
Hmm.
type of like movement of life, because even if the first movement that you make goes completely wrong, like, I mean, this is just like all hypothetical, but even if you like apply for a job and you go for an interview and you just completely, you have like an
Hmm.
anxiety attack or something and it goes completely wrong, even
Yeah.
then, to have even activated and experienced that will get your energy going and you'll be able to neutralize some of that. And then the next time you do it, there may only be like 40% of the charge. And then the next time you do it, there's like 10%. And then before you know it, you are just like this flowing machine that can activate your
Hmm.
energy in any area of like business or career. Um, exactly the same way that you would in something which you're already developed in. Because that's the thing. Most people, it's like, will be very flowy around like health or relationships, but then frozen around money. Or will be very flowy around money and business, but then very frozen around like health. Like different people have
Hmm.
the frozenness with different areas of their life. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But and
Yeah. No.
it's never as bad as the mind tries to say. The frozen energy tries to tell you like, oh, it's going to be so scary, or it's going to be so bad, or like this and this could go wrong. But that's what the frozen energy does. Its entire purpose is to come up with the best reason it can to keep you frozen. But then when you actually
Mhm.
flow through it and you settle some of that energy, that's when the universe blesses you. The universe will just randomly bless you with like the most amazing resolution that you've been looking for years, but it just never came because you were perpetually in that cycle of
Yeah.
like stuckness.
Hmm. I mean, for me, I think I've already started in a way, like
Right.
doing that, because like for example, when I moved here, like when I moved back here, I needed like more more money definitely, and I started like looking for not necessarily looking for jobs, but like looking for where I could like kind of easily like where I had already opportunities that I probably could take advantage of. And
Right.
like for example, I grew up here and I studied music and I'm a musician, etc. And I learned I took lessons from like from a music school here in my town, and like I know like I'm pretty close with the school and with the teachers
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I talked with one of the teachers like to ask if they were looking for teachers, and they told me that they were. So like um and then I like in September I started like teaching some kids
Oh,
there,
that's cool. That's cool.
and which is not really like my like the my end goal, or like the picture I have in my mind of what would fill me in that, like in the the career side
Yeah.
of things. Also because I don't really have a a really clear picture of that right now. But that's not it. Even though it's
Right.
not like that bad, it's not something I actively resist a lot or despise or something like that. But it's not like the best definitely. And
Right.
I mean, there was and there is some resistance to it because I'm a bit resistant about having fixed hours I have to adhere to, and
Yeah.
like
But
having to
the funny thing is, when you resist that, you perpetuate the likelihood that
yeah
you'll have to conform to that. Whereas a lot of the time, it's like when you can just, it's like when you have a job like that and you stop resisting the limited hours, that's when you get an opportunity to do your own schedule. That's when you
yeah
stop resisting. It's in, uh, in like into better alignment with those like higher qualities.
hmm yeah for sure. And also I have the feeling that even this conversation, like the fact that we're talking about it, and also like there's sometimes I have conversations with, for example, with my mom, or I had some with my girlfriend as well about all of this stuff about me not really
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
what direction to take, or like not being very um like uh not having that momentum we're talking about. Like for now,
Yeah.
I'm just teaching a few kids, but it's not it's not a lot, and it's not um a big enough, like consistent enough source of money, or like
Yeah. Yeah.
financial flow, like financial uh, what I mean.
Yeah.
So like
Abundance, like an
there's
activity. Yeah.
yeah, like there's this, like all of this talk about that, like this area, it's like, and mostly it's a bit triggering for me. It's like it stirs up my
Yeah.
resistance about it, and my
Yeah.
my it's mostly like confusion and doubt, and like because I really want to like make it flow better, and like I really want the energy to flow, but what I don't want to is like it's to go, because I really feel it's like to approach it from the
It's like
from the
it's like
feel.
you almost don't want to taint it with any fear. Like, is that what you're saying? Like you have so much
No,
love for
no, it's like the reason I don't. I mean, I guess these are the steps I'm taking, and these are steps. It's not like I'm not doing, like I'm not engaging with it at all, because these are, ways in which I am moving the energy, right? Like
it.
working a
Yes.
bit and like talking about it and reflecting a bit, even if
Yeah.
sometimes it's not it's not useful actually. But like ways in which the energy is moving, right?
Yeah.
And but like to go beyond that and like to maybe try to start something different or like maybe apply for jobs and stuff. It's like, to me it feels like a completely random thing. It's like there's no, it's like I'm completely um blind, like I don't know, like completely lost, I don't know like
Yeah.
what to do, where to go. And it's like it feels like, it's not that it feels unstable, because
What?
I'm pretty okay with instability. It's like that it feels completely
What?
unstable. Like there's not even a slight.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that's the trap of the frozen energy because the more frozen you go, the more kind of like confusing and like fragile everything seems,
Mhm.
and the more it seems like that's also why like they use like the word darkness for this. Like darkness is the same thing. That's why it feels like there's no like clarity in terms of what action to take around this because there's a ton of
Mhm.
unconsciousness around it. The unconsciousness is the frozen energy, which is distorting your clarity. It's distorting like your discernment to just like make like inspired actions like on your own
Mhm.
sovereign terms. But really, it's like it's really good now. Like what you described is perfect. Like how you're having little opportunity, like little moments just like this, where it's like
Mhm.
we weren't even trying to like we weren't talking about that from a
Yeah.
place of fear or reactivity. It just came as like an inspired flow of the conversation. And that's how the healing
Mhm.
happens. It's like the frozen energy tries to signal to you to stay frozen, don't talk about it, like shut down, clamp down, like avoid it, like something
Right.
like that. But the healing happens by going into that energy, like activating it,
Mhm.
allowing it, and then neutralizing it, being with it. And that's the same thing that the
Right.
contemplation can do. The contemplation can be very powerful because you can contemplate different scary experiences, like different things that you have resistance around, and
Yeah.
like kind of activate that energy and imagine, like try to sincerely, authentically play out a situation. Like that's the key. Is like imagine like if you were to go somewhere, like go do some sort of like
Mhm.
thing around this that would provoke resistance. Try to not just imagine it in a way where you're just imagining it all being perfect or something, where it's a kind of like dissociative way, you're not really
Mhm.
embodying it, but imagine it in a way where you're actually fully like invested in the imaginal scenario where you're like authentically replying, like you're because that's the key. That's
Right.
the way to heal this energy is you have to be authentic with it. It's like the frozen energy tries to signal to you to not be
Yeah.
authentic, to sort of just like dissociate and like it's like how Carl Jung says enlightenment isn't in imagining figures of light, it's in transforming the unconscious to the conscious. It's like the frozen
Mhm.
energy wants you to just imagine images of light to like avoid the scary energy. But the real way to transmute the frozen energy into the light is in being with it from that isness. And then
Right.
the key thing too, the beautiful thing is that the universe will take care of you and it will take care of you like so much better. It is never even like 50% as bad as the mind or the frozen energy tries to tell you it'll be. Like that's been my experience is like the universe that's the entire purpose of like the frozen energy. That's the demiurge is it knows
Mhm.
exactly what to say to you to get you to stay frozen. Like the mind is basically it's like it starts with that subtle mental resistance, but then the thoughts in the form of words they come in to try to manage safety. They come in to try to like give some sort of story to you which tells you why you should stay frozen. So it could be like
Mhm.
some sort of story of like, oh, like when I'm really there, like it would just everything would just perfectly happen or something. That's like the frozen
Mhm.
energy is like reactive story. But like, yeah, the as you've seen, like the progression happens just from like being with it. And it sounds like you're already doing that, like with the kids and stuff and like getting some movement
Yeah.
and motion happening. And that can just keep happening. You can just keep developing that. You can just keep like pursuing things, and you'll be able to do it from, you'll just get better and better at moving from inspiration. And because like you said, it feels like there's like no clarity, it's like all darkness, it's so confusing on which way to go. That's kind of what I meant when I said like just like throwing shit at the wall, like just like go and do something, even if it's the totally wrong thing. Like it can be like really really powerful, because it's like you may start to open up a little bit of darkness, and it's a very exponential thing where the more unconscious you transform to conscious, the more power you have to keep transmuting. Because it's like when there's a ton of darkness, it feels impossible to get anything going because you have no clarity. It's like you can't see what decision to make. You can't. It feels like there's no motion, no opportunity. It doesn't. It's like there's no guidance. But as you start
Mm-hmm.
to transmute a little bit of that, that's when you start to kind of get a grip on like that area of your life, and then you start to be able. It's like you have built a sort of like room of light.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have built some space of light, and then you'll be able to like fully look around and start to make more clear decisions, like in terms of what to do. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing, like if you haven't been in the motion of making like clear decisions at first, you're going to be bad at that. It's going to feel like you have no ability to like pick the right thing. That's the whole thing. But very quickly, when you just allow yourself to make mistakes and flow through it, you'll get way better really quickly, because you'll just neutralize and transmute that energy, and like it can happen like really really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Do you like because for me, for example, these, I mean, talking about it like we are doing, or like, you know, calling that teacher and asking if they were looking for other teachers, and like teaching these kids, like all of these
Yeah,
things don't, I mean, they kind of evoke resistance for me, but it's
yeah,
like, mm, I'm like, nowadays I'm not that, I don't like run away from that. If
yeah,
it's like I just go through it, and I just, there's that knowing that nothing can really end me. Like it's not
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
that big of a deal, like
yeah.
it's that I can handle it.
Well, and so, well,
But
so
but
what?
like, do you think and that kind of, it's like it feels a bit bad and resistant, but it also feels good. Like it feels right to do. But but
Hmm.
but like stuff like, there's stuff that doesn't feel like that. It just like feels very resistant, and it also doesn't feel right to do it. It's like, but I don't know. Do you think that's still like, the hijacking of the, like, something that is preventing me from doing something actually useful for me, or is that just?
Yeah. Well, it just depends, because there's a balance, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't want it to turn it into like, it's like you don't want to turn it into a practice. It's not like I'm like trying to make a list of all my biggest fears, and then every day I
Mm,
go and I shove my face in those biggest fears or something. It's
yeah.
it's like that's not what it is. Like the fear, the challenges, whatever you need to work on is revealed to you in the forms of whatever challenges you're having on your life. Like if you're having financial
Hmm.
problems, that's the infinite being guiding you to get this energy
Yeah.
going. That's like the energy. And yeah, I mean, there's it's just kind of like the difference in intuition, and it's the difference in resistance versus discernment. It's like you could have the
Hmm.
discernment to know that, like, I don't know, say you're not into, like, say you have no interest in being a football player, you can have the
Mm,
discernment to know that there's no sense in you pursuing football, even if you have
yeah.
resistance to playing football. You can have the, like, that's like you can have the discernment to know, like, but actually, well, really, even from the discernment, there doesn't have to be any resistance. It's like you can have the discernment to know, like, oh yeah, I don't want to play football, but it's not because you were like secretly afraid of football or something. It's
Mm.
just like there's just that
Yeah,
clarity,
like,
that intuition of like this is where I want to go.
yeah,
But
exactly. Like for me, for example, when you talk about like looking for jobs, right? And I start to think about, looking for a random, I don't know, like office
yeah,
desk jobs, right? It's not that I particularly feel resistant because I'm like scared or like I don't want to feel trapped or something. It's just more resistance about I don't know if I don't, maybe it's just discernment. It's just that it doesn't
It doesn't, yeah.
make
Well,
sense. Like it just feels like like an empty thing. It's just because
yeah,
the other stuff doesn't feel empty. It just feels full of
yeah. Okay.
shit, like of
No,
resistance.
yeah,
That
exactly.
like, but it feels like I can go through it, right?
Exactly. That's the key.
Like
It's
for example, like the let's say, so the other day I was talking about this stuff. I mean, in more like practical terms with my girlfriend, for example, and
yeah,
like the fact that the conversation was happening, kind of, evoked a bit of resistance and like, all of that confusion, especially,
yeah,
and a bit of doubt and like maybe a bit of, frustration, right? Because I
yeah,
don't, there's it's because of the confusion, right? Because I really want to make progress and like, move the energy and like get it unstuck and like go on my
yeah,
way and, you know, fulfill whatever it is. And but like the difference is I don't want to run away from, the conversation or like the aftermath of thinking about it and like having to face the situation. And that's, I guess, the thing, like the moving
yeah,
energy by resting as isness, right? Thing is not that like I want to bypass it or avoid it. Is but also
yeah,
like there's that component of um for example, if I have that conversation and I'm faced with and then comes the confusion and the frustration, right? I want to I am facing that and I'm facing the resistance and like transmuting it. Maybe not like completely
yeah.
efficiently or like 100%, I'm not doing it completely resistanceless, but I am doing it.
It's
I feel
unfolding. Yeah,
that I
it's
right.
ever. Yeah,
But also like I recognize there's thoughts coming from that, like maybe I should just like which I feel is like a subtle another subtle form of avoidance instead of like trying to resolve the problem. Is like there's thoughts saying things like maybe I should just like look for a random job and just get
right.
over like deal with it in this like forceful way and just like bypass the confusion and the frustration and just but then that feels to me like a way to not deal with the resistance and just
Yeah.
you know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think what you said is like perfect. Like that's fine. Like yeah, because that's totally the thing. It's like music and like pursuing like that kind of thing, like maybe teaching music or just doing something in relation to that. That could be your highest purpose. And that that can be totally like good. Like that would be my advice is like if you have the financial means to like not get the office job or whatever for now, I would say go after the music. But my advice would
Mm,
be is pursue the music head on. Like go after it. Cause the more
mm,
you can go after it and get energy activated and stirring and flowing, you will generate opportunities, even if it's not perfect. Like the self-improvement people are really kind of onto something when they talk about like just saying yes to life and like really like going and getting
mhm.
things going. The key is in doing it from this isness, like because a lot of the self improvement people get caught up in the
Yeah.
fear and reactivity, and it turns into a problem. But
Mhm.
the all the power is in merging the two. It's in merging the full practicality of the relative. It's like exactly how like you had to. It was probably a little scary or challenging to call the coach
Yeah.
and ask him like, oh, like do you have any students? Like that's kind of a challenge. But the key is it's
Yeah.
like you can flow through the challenges, and that's where all the progression happens. And there's also a
Mm,
ton of opportunity and power and progression in doing a lot of those things that a lot of musicians don't want to do, because I think that's kind of
mhm.
the thing. Like a lot of artists, they have resistance to those more like formal structures, like more like I don't know,
Hmm.
like say like marketing yourself or something. Like more of the
Yeah.
artists, they tend to have resistance around that kind of
Yeah.
energy. They just want to do like
The
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 artistic
right
stuff.
brain.
But
Yeah.
the most successful artists, well, there's definitely going to be outliers who are just like savants and they just like make their way
Hmm.
there. But like there is a ton of power and potential. You can really catapult yourself ahead, like financially and in terms of opportunities. If you can blend the two, like you can still pursue things head on. Like you may like be making calls or like reaching out to clients or like advertising yourself in some way. But the more you do it, you can do it from a place of like inspiration and flow and like, and you'll just get better
Hmm.
and better at it. Even if it starts out rocky, like from this isness,
Yeah.
you'll start to get stuff like generated and going. Um,
But where do you think this initial movement should come from? Like, should it come from, like, are you saying it's okay if even if it comes from something um something
I
other than, inspiration, like Isness?
well usually I think
Should be
especially
like forceful and like, you know.
I mean, there's a balance to it. You want to do it in the least forceful way possible. But if you have a
Mm,
ton of frozen energy around something, it's almost impossible that you're going to do something 100% from
mm.
inspiration because that's the thing. It tends to always be a sliding scale. Like at first, it
Right,
may
right,
be
right.
like,
But I'm saying, like, what if there's like maybe close to no inspiration, like that's something that
well,
come from basically no inspiration.
you so what you can do, that's the thing, is from this isness there's no, it's unconditional, so you can do
Mm,
different movements of life to get inspiration flowing and to get inspiration activated. So like one
mm,
example of that is like for me, like with my YouTube channel, like when I first started it, there would be a part of me that is thinking like, okay, like I need to like get some videos going, I want to make some videos going. But then there's the other side that's like, okay, well, I know if I do it purely from reactive energy, that won't work. Like that won't, it
mm.
just won't be a good
but
video. But then what
but
you
like
can,
that initial, that initial desire, like impulse to, like, I wanna get videos going, for example, didn't come from like 100%, like, I mean, a completely forceful. I
well,
mean, I guess it came
it's
from a
like
lot of
the,
inspiration, right?
the, it's like it's like there's inspiration to have the videos and to make the videos. But then it's like, there
Right.
could
Yeah,
be,
no, I get what
it's like there could be some sort of like reactivity or resistance, or like it's like
you.
I'm inspired, I want to make a video but I don't have enough inspiration to really like
Mm,
produce it into form. But my point is, what I was going to say is, from this unconditionalness, from this isness, you can flow with life and you can be very dynamic. So like one thing I would do is like I could then like I would just follow my inspiration. I would go and then like watch just like spiritual videos, and you can actually kind of consciously stir up
mm,
inspiration to get it going
mm,
more in that direction before you go somewhere. Or like even like a lot of times like you can watch like you can watch videos on like business or watch videos on like career or watch
yeah.
videos on like music business. Like you can do
Mm,
stuff like that to kind of get those inspiration juices running, if that makes sense. It's
mm.
like you can have a sort of
Yeah, yeah.
like place that you're looking for, and then you can do different things to get that energy going. Like it's like if you're gonna like I know we're not talking about like applying for an office job anymore, but like that's like a good example is like if you were doing an interview for an office job, it would be of your benefit to be like researching the company and like activating inspiration around like the
Yeah.
interview and like getting into that energy and like
Hmm.
reflecting on your skills and like reflecting on like different examples you can use. And you could do that same sort of thing with the music business, like with the pursuit of music, where you can be like
Hmm.
pursuing like inspiration and like getting that energy stirring, and then you can channel it into outward action. Like you can channel
Hmm.
it into like some sort of step that you'll take to like reach out to someone or like
Right.
create
And
some
that
sort of page or something.
and that would probably come a bit from inspiration as well, right? It wouldn't be like something that is like, mm,
Yeah, it's like you can generate
forcefully,
in
that
you
that
can
you can.
you can generate inspiration consciously. It's like you can have a sort
Mm.
of intention to generate inspiration, but it's not coming from like the key is yeah, like it can't be coming from fear because the more
Yeah.
fear and reactivity you get mingled into it, the less effective it'll be and the less it'll be inspiration. But there is a
Right.
way to sort of like consciously
Mm-hmm.
invoke that energy. It's like for me, like I can, if I want to make a video, I can start focusing on making a video and then I start to just naturally kind of like think about ideas. I start to, it's like I start to get stirred into this inspirational
Yeah,
state
yeah. And
by
it's like you can
focusing on
stop it. Yeah.
exactly. Whereas the frozen energy would tell me, oh, you should just wait until the idea comes to you. But if
Mhm.
like when I was doing that, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like
Yeah.
it's a little, it's a blend of like you're kind of like
Yeah.
focusing on where you want to go, but then you're merging that with that
Definitely.
surrender, like with that flowing isness. And that's like where all
Mm-hmm.
the power is. That's the merging of the absolute into the relative. It's where you're still
Yeah.
like fully engaged with the practicality of life, but with none of the
Mm-hmm.
reactive, like fear based energy.
Also, like, I don't know if you think the same, but like, I feel like at some point when you're like more like attuned enough to, Isness, it kind of starts to feel you kind of start to feel the resistance in staying still, like in the bad way we're talking about, like in non-action, like in the stagnant kind of non-action. Like it
Yeah.
kind of starts to feel very uninspired and very kind
Yeah.
of wrong to not act, or not
Yeah.
not not just not act, but it's not like I'm talking more about not letting energy move, right, in any kind of
Yeah.
way. It's like the guy you
Because
said about, what was it, oh, like not wanting to market, like to
yeah,
advertise, right?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like having like a resistance to that, like saying that's yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
like there's the I don't know, like people sometimes think that by non-acting you're always letting energy move, like
right. But you're
non-resisting,
actually
but it's not.
you're
Yeah.
that just turns into a position that turns into a
Yeah.
landing like a condition and then you start boxing yourself off from movement but
Yeah, it
the
contracts.
true the true non-landing is the transcendent landing. It's the unconditional landing which includes
Hmm.
the movement. it's the it's
Right.
that it's that landing. It's the isness. That's the ultimate landing. And from there it's like you can flow into stillness and non-activity, but then you can also flow into extreme activity. You can do both.
Yeah, and maybe like the entrance point for you, if you like, um, don't if you're like particularly resistant about, for example, advertising your company, it's gonna be something that seems way off, like way unrelated to that, right? But it's like something that actually is gonna help move the energy, and then it's gonna redirect you to, like, at a later time, maybe like even in
Yeah,
a few
because
hours.
even if it's 95% wrong, at least from that
Mm,
95% wrongness, you'll be able to pivot from there, and then maybe the next time it's
yeah,
80%
you get the
wrong.
energy moving.
Yeah, and then that's how you actually start to have clarity on what is the
Mm,
right move because you can't have any clarity on the right move if there's no movement. like,
right.
it's like that
Right.
you kind of it's you kind of just have to start off blind a little bit. It's kind of like that blind
Hmm.
like walk, but then it's way
Yeah.
easier than the mind ever says it's going to be. The more frozen you are, the mind builds up so much fear around the movement. It's like, oh, it's going to be horrible. Like if I try to do marketing, that's going to be so hard and scary. I can never do it. But like when you actually start doing it, maybe that first time it's like that or something, but then it actually gets way better, way quicker. And then you finally get some relief and resolution, which is what you've been looking for the whole time you were in the frozen energy. So that really
Yeah.
inspires things to keep going. That's when you really start to build a momentum.
Hmm. Yeah. But do you agree that, even that like that initial, um like impulse to move, like to start moving the energy in any way, right? Like even if it's not, uh seemingly related to what you want to do ultimately. Do you agree that it has to come at least like 1%, or like it has to be like to come from like a spark of inspiration, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
genuine.
And ideally you can cultivate that inspiration a little bit before you make the action. Like that's what I mean with watching the videos. It's like
And I guess,
if I didn't
but like let's say okay, let's take that then as the initial movement, right? The will to, like, and the impulse to build up the spark, right? That
yeah.
that that is most definitely coming from an inspiration, right? It's not just gonna come from, like, you're not gonna be able to have
Yeah, but
the
because that's the thing is the root of all desire is inspiration. Desire is
Mhm,
hijacked inspiration. It's like so
mhm,
even if it is a desire, even if it's yeah, like it's like it's like, yeah, it's just like that example I gave. Like, if you're hungry, you can be inspired to go get food. It's like on one level, you could say that's coming from reactivity and fear. But on another
mhm,
level, it really depends because it's like from inspiration, you can respond to life. And that's how you actually would get food in the best way possible is when you're just responding to the situation. Whereas if you get caught up in the reactivity and the fear, that's when you would like
mhm.
have problems finding food. And it's the same
Right.
but no, yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
you. Like what you were saying that, yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna,
it's like
and
it,
ideally, it's something. Yeah, it's you can cultivate it like a bit more. Like the more inspiration you can get flowing into the action, like the more successful it will be. Like the less,
mhm, friction there will be.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
and because that's
Mhm.
where all the power is. All the power is in the inspiration, is in the like the creative like response. Like when from the fear and reactivity, that's when it's like you try harder and harder and nothing seems to work. It's like the
Yeah.
no, go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say that, I guess like all of this can be easily, like, can become way easier if you just, do the the thing, like, you just rest as Isness. That's just gonna make the process a lot easier, because resting as Isness is just basically gonna automatically start the energy moving, and then maybe the first sign of the energy moving is that you wanna build it up, for example, or that you want to, watch
Yeah,
that
it's
inspirational video, for
it's
example. But like, maybe just resting as awareness, not as like, not like resting sitting on the couch, but like resting as awareness. It's like, basically that's the first step, and then the other stuff comes. Like, that
yeah,
starts
because
the engine, basically.
that's why every single spiritual master and teacher they all end up saying the same thing. It's all they say like abide as the I am, and
Hmm.
they didn't really explain this whole part of it. So like when Nisargadatta would say that or something, it's very confusing because he's not really telling you why that will solve your problems. But this is the
Yeah.
reason. The reason that resting as the I am solves your problems is because you're stepping out of those reactive patterns. And then like
Hmm.
being the isness, that's just being the I am during the movement of life. And that's how you like resolve the problems. And so that like that always is the answer. But it's tricky because the mind is looking for a conditional answer. The mind is looking for some sort of landing. But this is the unconditional answer. This is like the transcendent answer, which means that it's like there's no limits to where this can flow. It's like the mind, again, it's like the mind tries to condition it by saying, like, oh, if I'm in my true nature, then I would everything would just magically come to me. But then it subtly
Hmm.
freezes itself in place and it puts all these limitations. Whereas the real
Hmm.
unconditionalness is in being able to do anything, being able to flow with any experience. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and that's the whole thing. The more you live from that isness, the more flow and the more success you have in any area of your life. And that's what everybody is doing. Like you don't have to know anything about this to really do it. Like anyone who's a master at anything, they're extremely flowy and integrated and like smooth and gliding in that area of their life. That's what makes them good at it. like
Hmm.
like and you that the way that you get your whole life on every level to be flowy and progressive is in transmuting the energy and just like getting it um like flowing and activating. And yeah, it's like that first time, it probably will be rocky. Like if you have a bunch of frozen energy around something, it probably will not be very smooth and glidey. It'll be like bumpy, and there will be lots of little reactive
Mm-hmm.
emotions and things that'll come up. But you'll just transmute it very quickly. And because the more there is, it's funny because the more there is, I think it's like the grosser it is, the faster it transmutes. It's like the grosser it is, the scarier it is. But that's where all the
Yeah.
opportunity is because it transmutes super quick. Because it's like that gross stuff, it's just bubbling, waiting to be transmuted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually why even the challenges in the physical world, it's all grace. It's like the universe is kind of shoving these energetic
Yeah.
patterns in your face on the more gross level so that you can transmute them on the more subtle level so that you can actually have resolve and like peace and like and live in accordance with your true nature, with which is just like the flowingness, like that endless progression. Like that's how life is
Mm.
supposed to be. It's just supposed to endlessly progress in every direction forever. Like it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. 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 Like unending. Yeah. Like unlimited
unfoldment, unending
momentum. Yeah.
unfoldment. Yeah, like it's just
Yeah.
like and yeah, and it's unconditional. Like it doesn't mean that you never have points where you have like because it can progress into stillness. You may have periods of your life where you flow into like a hermit phase and you're spending a lot of time alone. But if it happens like that, it will be purely like inspiration. Like
Mm.
it will just be
And it
there
doesn't feel like contraction. Like.
exactly. And you don't get like frozen up around it. It doesn't turn into a
Mm.
position where you're like stuck as a
Yeah.
hermit.
I
You
need.
may just yeah.
Do you like? Sorry, since I have to go in a bit, like a few
Oh, you're
minutes.
good. No, wait,
Do you? No, sorry. I just wanted to ask like about the contemplation thing. Like, do
yeah.
you like? Is there something like similar that you do or have done like in that terms? In those terms, like there is like maybe like a bit less complex and like how would you approach that kind of thing, like moving the energy on a more subtle level, but like you talked about creating scenarios, for example, or like
Yeah.
how would you like move the energy on a like the more subtle energy mental or even the pre-mental one, like how do you would you do that?
I think the scenarios is the most effective way. And if you think about it, that's actually what all of the manifestation people teach. Like when Neville Goddard or something
Mm,
teaches like to imagine yourself like in the finished, like it working out. Like that's what they're
yeah.
describing. But the key is the reason that it works sometimes and it doesn't work in others is it
It's
has
because
to do,
you have no resistance.
yeah. Well,
If you have no resistance, it works.
and
Otherwise,
it has to do with the energy in which you're doing the imaginal scenario. Because like what a
mm,
lot of people do, and what I got stuck in is I would do the imaginal scenario in this sort of like dissociative way where it's like
mm,
I'm not fully channeling like my full embodied energy. It's like I would be kind of popped out into this high frequency where everything is perfect and I'm just imagining myself as like my perfect self, but I'm not actually channeling my full authentic self in that scenario. Like the key is like in the imaginal scenario,
mm,
you're trying to it's like this full blending of the authenticity. So it's like if
mm,
you were like say you had resistance around like applying for a job or something, the way that you would
mm,
resolve that energy and imagine the successful outcome is you imagine yourself in that interview, but you don't imagine yourself in that interview in a sort of dissociated way where you're cutting yourself off from all the scary feelings. You imagine yourself
mhm,
in that scenario where you're allowing all the scary feelings to flow, you're allowing all of that energy to flow, and then you're
mhm,
authentically flowing through it. It's like you're responding to the contemplative scenario
yeah,
and you're allowing all of that energy to flow and that's how you start to um
transmute
unwind
it.
it and dissolve it and yeah and transmute it on that more subtle level and then
Mm.
as you do that that's when you may like build up the confidence to then go and do it on the more physical level
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking about like it comes to mind when a lot of people on the manifestation community like Neville and stuff, they talk a lot about doing sets or like doing imaginal acts or you know
yeah
visualizations and stuff, and they all treat like there's a lot of people saying, I try to imagine the scenario, the preferred scenario, and things go wrong in the imaginal scene, like things don't go as I wish, and then I have to start all over again. Instead, I think it's exactly like the way to success, right? Because
Yeah, it's
it's
flowing
gonna go wrong. Yeah, it's gonna go wrong because it's gonna enact all of the resistance you have inside and all of the
exactly.
beliefs.
And
Exactly.
you can play it out on that imaginal level, like, and that's the
Yeah.
way exactly.
And the
Yeah,
key
it's
is not to start all over again, but it's like to meet it without resistance as Isness, like exactly like giving it space to dissolve and transmute, and then the next time is gonna be way more mm, you know coherent with what you actually desire and with your imaginal scene, like the ideal
yeah,
scenario.
yeah,
But you
because
have
you're
to go through the the worst case scenarios as well, if that's what,
because the
because you're
worst
basically
case
manifesting
scenarios.
at the mental level, like when you're doing those visualizations. And
The worst case scenarios are basically the out picturing of the most frozen fragile energy. And the way to
right.
transmute that most frozen fragile energy is in living those worst experiences. But when you actually
Mm,
live it, you transmute it very quickly. It's like even you can even
yeah,
do it on that imaginal level. It's like you don't succumb to that urge to like avoid it or suppress it or like something. It's in being with those energies like fully
yeah,
and
it's
allowing
like
it.
like like oops, I've entered the wrong reality, or the wrong room. Instead, it's the right room, but you have to like stay like
Yeah.
stay there, stay in that room, and like it's like the you or Young's thing you said, like you have to stay in the seemingly wrong room, and you have to
and
like let it
transmute
reveal
to the
itself
light.
as the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because that's the thing is you actually always are in the right room. It's just the
exactly.
mind
Yeah,
tells you
because
that you're not.
it's all the same. Like it's always the same reality. It's always the same
You're always in, yeah, you're always,
energy.
yeah,
It's all the same isness. Like you can't be in some other isness with that isn't
yeah.
the all pervading one. So
Yeah.
there's no other. Yeah, because it's non-duality, right? So there can
Exactly.
be
Yeah, that's,
another room. Yeah,
yeah, that's the illusion of the mind is basically telling you that you're in the wrong room. That's the root of seeking.
yeah, and like yeah, like saying things
And the more,
are not as I want them to be.
and
It's like saying the same thing, right? It's like this reality, which is the only one, like the real reality. I mean, like the infinite possibilities and potentials one is like the wrong one, but it can't be because it's the exact same as the one you prefer. It's the same thing. Like inside the room, there are also the things you prefer, but you're just resisting them, and
yeah,
so
and it's like the more you label it the wrong room, the more it
the
appears
more you
as the
see it,
wrong room.
yeah,
Yeah, the more.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Okay, so you would just okay, so scenarios, and which is basically like the same. I mean, it's different, but it's also like very. It's kind of the same principle as the questions, right? Like you're just, for example,
yeah,
if you're asking, is it true that I don't have enough? For example, it's like asking, is it true? I mean, like in this, there's not enough in this room, for example. Like you're entering the room and you're seeing there's not enough, and you're like questioning
yeah,
it, like you're staying with it, and you're like being
yeah.
present, and
And
yeah.
exactly. And the key is like that can be great. And you just have just be cautious. Don't let that turn into another frozen energy or a landing where you become stuck in that and you're waiting forever. Like
Mhm.
ideally, like as you do that, you want it to carry over into some sort of physical action. Like you like that's
Mm,
and that's what the manifestation people say. Like even Neville Goddard has said, like when you actually do this and you actually plant that seed, the way the seed erupts is in the volition to act. It's in the volition to act. And so it's like as you do those imaginal scenarios, like and and you find some of that energy. Like my advice would be, when you start to feel some inspiration flowing or some like
Mhm.
juices flowing, act on it. Go and make a movement. Like go and like call or something. And then even if it's not perfect, like that's fine. Like it's good to make mistakes. Like that's what the business people get right when they say like it's good to keep failing over and over again. Because with every
Mhm.
failure, you get closer to success. Like you keep transmuting that energy. Even if it was the completely wrong move, you'll at least learn from that. You'll be like, okay, well, that wasn't my fit. But like,
Mhm.
like you'll be able to pivot and then from there, that mistake will actually invoke more inspiration, be inspired,
Mhm.
do things better. And that's how you start to get that motion going, where it's like that back and forth, where you're kind of back and forth from contemplation, generating inspiration, and acting on the inspiration and getting some type of movement. And then you get that feedback from life and then you're inspired by that. It's that sort of energetic flow.
Mhm. Yeah. I kind of lost you like the last couple sentences, but I mean I know what you meant.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry, the wind here is crazy. I don't know if you can hear it or
Oh,
not.
okay, yeah, it must be that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
But
sorry, I think I have to go, but yeah, I would I would stay, honestly.
no,
But
you're
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean as always it's great. Yeah, it's very nice to yeah, to like discuss. Like it's very like I really feel the the I really feel the stuff moving,
Yes.
like
Yes. That's awesome.
the
Yeah.
the clarity. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. And yeah, I love talking to you, bro. Like, even though we haven't talked, I see you as like like my OG buddy with this stuff. I love the conversations and stuff we had. So like, yeah, I'm
Yeah, man.
always down to catch up. And I love that you have a girlfriend now, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel this my energy moving
Yeah,
energy right now.
exactly.
Like
Exactly.
engine. Yeah, it's like it's very I really feel like it's it's my contemplation uh,
Yeah.
practice basically. Yeah, it's like moving a lot of stuff, but in a good way. I always tell,
That's
like I even tell this to my girlfriend that it's like that basically she showed up. I mean, the relationship showed up like exactly where I was probably ready to. I was probably capable of being of handling it, like of like not shutting down and like resist it so much
right.
that I couldn't be in it. And like
Right.
now I feel like I'm able to like if there's a challenge or like a trigger or something like that, like like any kind of resistance, I feel like I'm able to eventually maybe like
Yeah.
because sometimes it takes like a few moments, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm able to like to go through it and like to stay with it and not shut down. And so I feel
That's
like
awesome.
it's like I feel like I'm in that space where life is throwing stuff at me and I'm not that afraid anymore to like face it and like
Yeah.
engage with it. And that like
Yeah.
I feel it's gonna help me more and more, like, and it's gonna be more and more beneficial, I think, because it's like helping me like move the energy. And
Yeah. That's perfect, bro. That's awesome. That's so good.
yeah.
That's yeah. Cause that's exactly it. And it's all opportunity. It's like on one end, it's like David says, like it's the demiurge trying to bait you back in. But on the other end,
Yeah.
it's all opportunity. So it's
Right.
all
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's also a chance to get out even more, like like to see things as they are, right? Like to recognize
Exactly.
the game and yeah,
Yeah.
to
And to be more
transmute.
flexible and dynamic and alive and embodied. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, man, let's do it again for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It was really good. Like I feel like the relationship and the career, that's like exactly what everyone's
Hmm.
problem is. Like that's like exactly
Yeah.
what what people like want to would benefit the most from. So
I'm being the perfect case study, basically.
no, yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, and you're healing and you're resolving it. So you're like a
Mm.
leader with that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I mean it's what time is it for you? It's 1 p.m., right?
Wow, it's 1:11, right when I checked the clock.
1:11.
Yeah, that's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
111. That's amazing.
Hashtag hashtag I
Angels
don't
on
know.
Earth. Hashtag
Yes,
angels.
yes. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, man.
You too, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, man. See you. Bye bye.
Peace.
Peace. Bye.